Welcome everyone to Our Town Podcast. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, share if you can, and review if available. We'd love to hear from you, so comment below and tell us how we're doing. Don't forget to visit ourtownpodcast.com for all the links and join the members only section of the website or sign up on Patreon. Now here are the boys of Our Town Podcast.
We'll save that.
Let's save that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great thing to save. I think it's a wonderful thing to save.
Oh my gosh! Do you think that little kid is done? That's now too tall for her own good. Well, welcome everybody to another exciting edition of Our Town, a podcast. Yes, it is. This is episode 126, boys.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
Seems like yesterday it was 100.
It was a few days ago. Tonight's safe word, boys, is get to the chopper. And that's because men, and that's from the classic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Predator.
Yeah, Jesse, friend of the show, Jesse the Body Mature.
Yes, we've got a picture to prove it. It's because men say marriage is not as good as the movie Predator.
I would have to agree.
Bride Magazine did a poll, and I think this poll is a little bit old. It's about 10 years old, but Bride Magazine did a poll that found 80% of men rated the movie having higher levels of excitement and intellectual stimulation than a lifetime of commitment to some women. So
I think there's some truth in that. I think if you were to measure someone's, maybe at the beginning of a relationship.
And who's doing that study?
Bride Magazine, apparently. So if anybody's not feeling safe, just yell, get to the chopper.
Let me practice.
And we'll stop.
Get to the chopper. No,
we will stop this here show and check on you. And you folks can do it at home, too. Just hit pause, yell out, get to the chopper. And we will...
especially if you're at the library or a local coffee shop.
Yes, it's the best place. As loud as you can.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's more effective if you're louder. Boys, lots happening in this world of ours.
Jeez, tell me about it.
Jumping into some headlines, I just have LA riots on here, which is not what's happening.
Well, geez, it has
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Well, the city's not burning to the ground.
Yeah,
well, it never is.
No,
like when Trump was like saying that
it's awful,
most of Seattle is being taken over by.
I know, but language does matter, and that's so they can frame, because then it just echoes around.
It does.
Right? So
did you hear the Seattle
framework?
Yeah.
And Portland and all that.
There has been some property damage. I think there was, what is it, the Wago
the self-driving vehicles or whatever. I mean, that seems like, for the modern age, of course those are a target. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not saying it's good, but it's an obvious target because it's such an epitome of today, right?
And this is not like Rodney King, burning non-indictment riots.
No, but they're being framed as only against the raids, when really it's the process, the breaking of Constitution numerous times, just disappearing of people, period, right? It's like, because they're from like their jobs. So it's not like you're breaking up a terror cell.
No.
You know what I mean? That's not what's occurring. It's like, if they were, we would hear about it nonstop.
They're chasing guys through strawberry fields to capture
The quota is 3,000 a day.
Yeah.
3,000, you know what I mean?
That's a lot of humans.
Then you don't come in and just swoop in and create terror.
Well,
what are you trying to do, to get them to run so you can...
Why would that be the program? Why would that be the design?
Right. Why would that be the way it was? Why not just go into a restaurant and say, let me see your records? And do it the normal way.
Well, because then they would have to, charge the business and fine them, which is what's on the books. And I've always said, look, if you want to pay for your wall, go to these giant meat packing plants, go to these huge home builder firms.
Giant agricultural firms, dude.
Giant agricultural firms, and go in and give them fines.
Have you heard of any fines?
No.
Any of it.
I heard today that
it's like the cruelty is the point.
Again, it's all hearsay, right? He got a bunch of backlash from restaurants or the hospitality industry,
hospitality and farmers,
the farmers, and so he's turning around on some of his.
Who knew?
Yeah, but and I really encourage anybody at the sound of my voice, find work elsewhere. You can't trust the U.S., dude.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to leave the U.S. because I think they won't let me back into my home.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's upside down right now.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody stop doing business with us. You can't trust the guys in charge.
Yeah, and I don't want to just say don't buy into all the drama and trauma, but there's so much for us to handle. We as humans only can handle so much. Yeah. But it's by design to keep us all on edge.
But every degree that I'm invested in that, I'm invested in all of that. Right? So the reverse of that is, if I can divorce myself from that, right, then I get something else. You know what I mean? So I have to make, if these systems that enable this kind of terror to exist, right, this whole fucking setup, right, I need to divorce myself as best I can from these systems.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. Really?
Except my own behaviors, which hopefully allow me to get away from that shit, not allow them to squeeze me and profit from me at the very least, right?
Yeah. Because the people that are here illegally, they're doing the work, they're paying taxes, they're doing all the
taxes that they can't get benefits from.
Correct.
Right? So they're paying into the solvency of Social Security, et cetera, with false numbers and shit. And I'm not, the whole idea, if we would have done a Marshall Plan in Latin America,
yes,
this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the reason that, like, during COVID and all that, the numbers were so large is because we had the best economy on earth. Why are these people traveling dangerous routes, right? It's because their economies are fucked. Right? Because for the 100 years before that, a Western power snatched all the low-hanging fruit.
Correct.
Right? And set up systems which allowed elsewhere to snatch that low-hanging fruit.
And thrive as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, all of it's, not ancient history. It's very recent history, right? But all of that leads to these employment and income inequalities which drive these migrations. Right? That's doing.
Identifying what that is and the trigger points for why someone wants to challenge themselves with coming across a border.
Oh man!
That's some dangerous shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get shot or anything, but
better than the alternative.
Correct.
So how do we fix that? Right?
Well, it's about the administration. It's about compassion and understanding and awareness of the human condition. Yeah. It isn't all about business. We've been reduced to money, and financially, it's not the way to go. It makes us all on edge because we're a democracy and we're all about the financial advantage that I can have over you in business.
Because the lack is the big lie is that there's not enough.
Right. There's so much.
So that brings that false competitiveness that doesn't really have to exist, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's the nuts and bolts of it, right? If we don't want people coming in here and doing these jobs that we're not doing anyway at rates that we would never work for.
And nobody's going to do them.
Yeah. But the big wigs, of course, they want a second worker class, a secondary class, right? The ownership class. Of course they do. Of course they do.
Well, maybe not anymore because of AI and the robots coming.
But we're not all sharing in the AI bounty, obviously, right? So the white collar class is going to get eliminated now, right? Yeah. It's like. And we're not prepared with UBI and all these other equalizing mechanisms, right, that allow us to all share in the bounty, right? So that is how that neo-feudalism, classism is happening.
Yeah, we got separated from the whole thing. We're just getting pushed away from the middle class and
the middle class is going to get erased completely. Because this is the Reaganomic stuff on steroids now.
Yep.
So, and we can't trace that directly back to the LA riots. Right? Yeah. Because all of that fed into that. And the half correct and half incorrect idea that democracies are failing. right? And they don't deliver and all that kind of stuff. So all the systems are rotten. Blah 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 blah.
They're completely corrupt.
Because how come it's not 16% of the American population just out in the fucking streets? Packing it, being done with this shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like because we're just exhausted.
Well, and sometimes we are. We've been out in the streets and gotten nowhere with that. I was part of the whole pussy hat thing back, the Me Too movement. I went I did the Seattle. That was great. There was, I don't know how many, 200,000 people, something like that.
Yeah, for the Women's March?
Yeah, and all around the world, since the chaos has been going on recently, you see marches in lots of cities, but it's not.
Well, it did just recently in not Bosnia, what's the new? Oh, Serbia, and like 2 different places with rough, shitty systems that really want to disallow democracy. They came out in such numbers that it just fucking flipped it. You know what I mean? It really
flipped what?
Flipped their shit government into a better one.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. 2 times. It was Serbia and somewhere else. I can't remember that. But just relatively recently, But it takes, and I know there's been, books written about this, but it's like 3% of the population or whatever mobilized. It doesn't take, 50-50. It really doesn't.
It doesn't take 3 billion people.
Yeah, because there's only so many cops and soldiers and shit.
Well,
but that's why the big flex with the Marines now.
Yes.
And the weird propaganda piece he did.
Yes.
What the fuck? It's just such nonsense.
Yeah.
This is a 5-alarm fire.
What propaganda?
Oh, he was at a Fort Bragg, and he was like making them boo a governor and a mayor and all this kind of stuff. It's like, and just declaring war on part of America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, man?
Yeah.
It's like
on the process that was set up by our forefathers to protect us from guys like Trump.
Yeah.
It ain't working.
It ain't working because, there's too many. I think they thought they were going to deal with statesmen. And there would be statesmen running the for office, taking pride in this endeavor.
Oh, you're talking about the forefathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think it would just. They didn't see the mealy-mouthed, cowardly, greedy pieces of shit that are allowing this to happen. Mike Johnson is to blame.
Yeah.
It's the House that should be stopping all of this.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, and that guy's a toady, if not one of the puppet masters, right? Oh, man. I don't get it, dude.
Sorry to get you all riled up.
Well, because democracy
That's the way we
is
like
important.
Mike.
Well, yeah, and without
I do too.
democracy, and I mean this, and I say it occasionally, and it makes me very unpopular at parties. But if democracy in America dies, democracy dies. End of story. And if democracy dies, humanity is doomed.
It's
nothing short. We will be done. Right? More voices at the table better guarantee our survivability. Nothing ever guarantees our survivability, but it greatly increases the chances. Right? This kind of reactionary, racist, stupid shit is going to drive our species directly into the dirt.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
I don't disagree.
But that is why now it is important. Right.
Important to what? To just give up and
for our
walk?
future, I don't know what we need to do, but we need to figure something out. How do we stop this? How do we stop this?
I don't know. It's a troublesome situation for sure.
It's going to take a lot of people. So I think part of it is us just rubbing elbows with people who we don't ordinarily rub elbows with.
Smile at somebody.
People
say
in
hello.
the public, yes.
Strike
and
up a
let them
conversation.
know that we're not bad, right? We're all just American citizens, man.
We're all,
and we're all
humans,
people.
all the way across the globe.
I know. But that for some reason, that's a tough sell. That can be a tough sell. Not sure why that's a tough sell.
Right.
But you part in the point of Charles. I mean,
well, I'm just asking everybody.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Why is that a tough sell?
Well,
we're human beings on a tiny iron ball, dude.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and there's plenty.
Dude.
No, I remember, right after the election, I friggin' checked out, man. I just could not believe we would go down this road again. And I stopped watching the news. I stopped giving a shit for a while, even past the inauguration, the whole bit. And then realized that, no, you got to stay engaged. You got to stay involved
find something to do.
Whatever little bit you can, right?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think what you did was self-preservation.
Yeah, which is
necessary.
Sure, yes,
and I think there's, like I said earlier, there's only so much that one person can handle.
Yeah.
We can handle like 5 or 6 things, and that's it. But there's hundreds of things and topics. Planes falling out of the sky, and UFOs and
that's
tornadoes.
Another issue with all of this right now is there's so much.
There's so much. It just
tiny things like does he have fucking leg braces or a catheter under his pants? Does he have? He tripped going up the stairs and all the things.
But I know. But
and it's just so much every day.
I know.
It's like no, you got to focus on the issue that he's killing democracy.
We're not even sure, and if I'm sure. But it hasn't gone through the Supreme Court because they're just pokey on it. If he can issue from his office tariffs. This whole fucking thing that has juggled the world economy, it's not really his job.
It's not,
but for some reason, the Supreme Court's like, we'll just sit that one out. We're going to talk about something else.
Yeah.
We're going to allow those triggers, those fucking... oh, no, that was his office. He did that. The fucking... Oh, Jesus Christ. It's insane. But...
no, you're absolutely right.
But I know this weekend, there's over 1,000 of the No Kings.
Yeah,
marches,
I'm going to the one here
in Renton, for sure. And
I
then
didn't hear about
hopefully, it's a nationwide, worldwide.
It's the military parade. It's the Army's
it's the same day
birthday, which happens to fall on Trump's birthday. So he's sort of celebrating it as a parade for himself on Saturday.
I like my ignorance is bliss.
And there's so much going on with that too. Is like I don't know if it's fake or not. I think it might be, but there was an ad in like Craigslist.
I don't know if that's real or not.
To get seat fillers. To get seat fillers, wear red or gold, fill the seats.
And
we're
you get
looking for ethnicity.
Are they paying people?
They say $1,000.
Let's do it, boys.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of it, I'm just going to take off my shirt. It's going to be blue and green.
No, I'm thinking about dressing up as a clown. I was inspired by American Clown. I'm gonna, maybe do a little clown with a little crown, a clown crown.
Nice.
And head over there on Saturday. I think it's at noon here in Renton. You guys won't hear this in time.
I've got my clown coat. I'll bring my clown coat.
Wear your clown coat.
Yeah,
just right at the landing is where my understanding is.
Which I think is good, keeping it local. And I'll try to. Network as many people, get some ideas for actionable steps that I can take. And for a number of years, I used to write postcards to my representatives because they have to deal with a postcard. You can call, I also encourage people to call the switchboard, right, and talk to your people and just insist that they act, right? Insist that they act. Because voting for them is, part of it, but speaking to them and letting them know what the fuck is happening here
and important to you.
It is important.
That's their job, is to listen
postcards
to us.
are great, and you can send them, get some Renton postcards, and mail them a Renton postcard. Yeah, I guess if you're in Renton.
Wish you were here.
Yes, greetings.
Greetings.
And just write them and tell them what's going on. Because we have to use, and I don't see Schumer or any of the minority leadership there's nothing they can do. Nothing. Nothing. None of them can petition the Supreme Court. Nothing. They can't bring suit on behalf of the American people. They can't do. There's nothing they can do.
Are they all part of the same club, though?
I don't know. Or they're threatened.
But they're going to get to the point where unless they make enough of a stink.
And somebody was talking about,
they're not going to have
Gavin
time.
Newsom's just looking towards 2028 and all this kind of stuff, and that's why he's being outspoken. It's like, A, no, he's being outspoken because he's pushed up against the wall.
Well, and he's done this before.
And B, you think there's going to be an election in 20? Are you stupid? Are you fucking stupid? Not a chance. There are Marines on the ground in L.A. And you think in 3.5 years, they're going to be like, okay, we're done. You guys take over now.
The only saving grace right now is if they can take the House back.
Yeah, but I'm not convinced they'll even going to allow that election at all, dude. Not
well,
convinced.
and one thing that we talked about, and I had a great conversation with my father-in-law about this when he was up. His former senator used to do like a weekly catch-up right? Like, this is what I've been working on. These are the bills we voted on, or this was what I introduced, legislation I introduced, all that stuff. And his new senator, who is, but with a big guy that was the congressman that was always in the mix with Trump from California. I can't think of his name now. Why can't I think of his name?
Not McCarthy?
No, the Democrat. Gosh darn it.
Senate or Adam Schiff?
Adam Schiff is the new senator. And it was his congressman, and Schiff is not doing enough of that, in his opinion. And I talked to Eli, friend of the show, when he still works at the FAA, when Buttigieg was the head of the FAA. Yes. He would get a weekly email saying, this is where I've been this week. This is who I've talked to. Pete Wood, every week, send out an email as this is what I'm doing. This is what the FAA is working on. This is where I'm going to be next week. And that's what we need from our. But I think Adam Smith here does.
Now they're demanding to know what you've done.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right. It's oh man, because the tables have turned. Now we are their pawns, not the other way around.
I think Adam Smith does a pretty good job.
I just heard about it. He was on the radio today.
Hopefully, friend of the show might want to come on, Adam.
That is. It wouldn't hurt.
But yeah, I mean, he sends out on social media. He does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so. I don't know, because he's got an intern that could do that for him, right? That's easy.
Right, he's got a paid staff.
Yeah, he's got a paid staff
with tax dollars.
Yeah, no,
that could be doing that kind of stuff.
And I think he's been in for like 27 years.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, come on the show.
Yeah. I don't know.
So much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
No,
your head's going to spin off your shoulder.
That's the issue right now, and you could call it TDS, you could call it whatever dog shit you want.
What's TDS?
Trump derangement syndrome. But it's because every day there's 2 or 3, whether it's him, like I said, tripping going up the stairs to Air Force One, or people seeing something under his pant legs. Is it a catheter? Is it a what? To, I'm just going to halt the tariffs on China for today.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has to stay in the news. He's addicted to being in the headline.
Absolutely.
And his people know that that's the best thing you can do. But it's also daily illegality. And corruption. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Bitcoin shit. And I think in that same ad, which may or may not be true, of the $1,000, you get paid through some type of.
It is cryptocurrency.
Just because that's, obviously.
Because he can steal it back.
And it's just the most corrupt system possible to invest for a politician, right? It's like,
and they're hinting at wanting to change that to the national standard.
So bad.
It's right in front of our faces. It's happening, and
it's just
we're the people that are supposed to be watching
world's
this.
richest banana republic.
Yeah,
but we also have like a lot of guns.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. It's not a good mix.
And I'm wondering where the NRA is not standing up to tyrants, right?
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
God.
Wait till they start to come for your guns.
Because, man, I don't know. Bummer.
Yeah.
But we can all just do exactly what we can, right?
Especially
and preparation
locally.
Prevents panic, people. So I always encourage everybody to have 3 days worth of water for everybody in their household, just stash in a fucking closet, and some tuna fish cans and 2 can openers. It's one break.
One breaks.
You know what I'm saying, dude? Because
pain
then
in the ass
if
to
some
open it
weird
with a
shit
steak
happens,
knife.
because they realize the feds are going to cut off state funds to West Coast, right? No duh.
Yeah.
Right? So that means you know what I mean? And I think they can shut the switch on the Bonneville Power Administration.
I
You know what I mean? It's like, so to have 3 days worth of shit in your house, right? So you don't have to panic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're supposed to panic though. This is part of our job. We have to be in fight or flight all the time. So our
that's where they want. That's where they want you to be too.
It's a much more powerful place for them to be.
Yeah, because then you look for a result, right? And then they present you with some result that's bad for you.
Or they give you 3 really shitty options, and you get to pick between 3 shitty options.
You got to be prepared because the
ghost of Dick Gephardt.
Where is the ghost of Dick Gephardt? Where the fuck is he, man? Come on, dude.
You guys have yards. Do you guys have bunkers?
No.
bunkers?
I don't have a
Yeah, I mean, like everybody else does, all the rich people,
safe room or whatever?
Yeah, safe room.
No. I've got a room with no windows and a lot of duct tape. So
Nice.
That should
Or
help.
a clean room or whatever? Or,
Well,
or
I
a kidnap room. Depends on the night.
You sure you want to disclose this on national radio?
no, I just mean if there's something crazy. And like Mike suggested, I invested in a water storage system.
Yeah, right on.
Good.
Yeah.
And, the freeze-dried food, those, I hate to say it,
MREs?
but
Like MREs or whatever?
well, it's the bucket of
no, they're great, man.
freeze-dried stuff. It's
Yeah.
like camping food
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. But it lasts like 20-something years.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And why not? Why not? And now it's like a 5-gallon bucket, right?
Right,
That ain't
exactly.
that's not taking up room in your house.
No.
You know what I mean? It's great. I mean, you need clean water and
Right.
you need some kind of heat source,
Yeah.
right? But
And go get those, the little life straws.
My straws.
Oh, yeah.
Invested in about 2 or 3 of those, too.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
How dirty is the Cedar River down here?
Depends on the time of year.
Okay.
Right, if there's a bunch of dead salmon upstream, it's bacteria. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's when my hair
Tastes
gets that.
fishy.
My hair probably still has that.
Good point.
It's just a classic. You just go, oh fuck.
But I mean, from all the way up in the mountains all the way to here,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
there's a ton of filtration that's going on.
Yeah, but there's a lot of deer poop along the way. There's
That's why you have those little.
Yeah,
You know what I mean.
Kyle, we know where you live. We know you've got acreage right on the river.
Yeah. Go out.
We're all coming to stay with
Leslie
you.
Adams. We're headed to your house.
I'll bring the whiskey.
Yeah, I don't know, but you could boil it and drink it all day.
Yeah.
I'm sure because
Yeah.
there's a lot of upstream chemicals too, right? Like runoff from fucking roadways and all that kind of shit, right?
Well,
But,
I live so close to the river that I'm like, I'll just walk down there and grab me a can of water and
fucking badass.
and then just cook it up and
oh, yeah.
Boil it on your barbecue.
Yeah.
throw some essential minerals in that thing and
Right on.
make it happen.
Yeah.
Something.
I choose not to be afraid.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
I
And-
work very hard at not being afraid of anything.
Yeah.
I don't need to be afraid of anything because fear is like a learned thing, and you just keep getting bashed over the head with "be afraid."
Yeah. And it's not helpful.
Like on Facebook, every time there's like the headline up there, there's all these like little stories in that little column up there. It's always like somebody's died
Yeah.
in
Oh,
there.
wow,
So
bummer,
it's
yeah.
always,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, we've got some
like a
celebrity-
picture of someone that didn't
That's to talk
die,
about tonight.
that hasn't died,
Yeah.
and it's just constant. So
Mine's
you have to
always like,
choose to make your nervous system to do
Yes.
breath work, like I did last night with Mary at the.
Yeah, right.
how was
Yeah,
that?
Pepe.
Oh, it was great. We had a packed house in here.
Nice.
Great.
It was wonderful. Yeah, it was full moon breath work with singing bowls. My friend
Was
Cormac
that the
came
strawberry
down.
moon?
It was the strawberry
Yes.
moon.
Interesting.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
And, I'm getting better at this whole thing. The first couple of times I did it, I don't think I was paying attention. I was just more into the meditation part of it. So I wasn't really doing the breathing as hard as I could. And this time I did the breathing really, really hard, the circular breathing. And man, when you hold your breath at the top and at the bottom with those things, your extremities vibrate. You go into almost like a hallucinatory vibrational kind of a shake. At least I did.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And then you get done, you just feel just invigorated,
Nice.
like you could take on the world. And just to think about it, everybody has their breath at their disposal all the time. It's something you can do right now. Take a deep breath, right? Take a deeper breath instead of these smaller, shallower breaths. So I'm learning a lot from listening to Mary.
She's
and
fantastic.
It's a wonderful program.
right.
So if you guys are interested in doing that sometime, full moons. I'm not sure if Mary's going to do any more this summer. She's got her hands full. She might.
If you want, request it. And maybe if she gets enough folks to.
Sign
Oh,
up.
sure, yeah.
Well, we had a packed house this time, so it was great.
Got to make it worth their while.
That's right. It's going to be great.
She's got enough.
What's the
Breath mindset.
Breath Mindset?
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah, she's for
She's for real, and she walks you through it. She's a good orator, and then she does the sound bowls afterwards. And this room is so resonant.
Nice.
It just is like this in different tonal values of the 7 bowls she has, I think, something like that, and just a wonderful experience because you're just after this breath work, you just go into this wonderful singing bowl experience, and you're just like out of body. It's
Jeez.
really great. Yeah.
Interesting.
I dig it.
Nice.
Good job, Mary.
Good job, Mary.
babe.
Boys, a few weeks ago we talked about the fact that the billboard on I-5 down in Chehalis was up for sale.
Yeah.
Well, it has sold.
I heard about that.
The Chehalis tribe has purchased the parcel. It's off of exit 75. If you folks don't remember us talking about it, it's the one that has the Uncle Sam on both sides and always has sort of a right-leaning political message to it.
For quite some time, right? Through the 90s or something.
Yeah. And I did read a little bit more about the history of it when I was there. I guess at one point it talked about how Evergreen State College bad. I don't remember exactly what they said. But Evergreen State College took a picture of it and used to sell it as postcards in their bookstore, which is funny. But it sold to the Chehalis tribe after decades of backlash on it.
I've heard they're going to
$2.5 million.
It's awesome. It's a great thing, and I've heard. I don't know if this is true or not.
For $2.5 million?
Yeah,
they got a few acres.
It's there. It's like 10 acres, I think, right there.
Something like that.
5 acres,
and they can advertise, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
it's got
a giant fucking billboard.
It's got more eyeballs.
Does
than
Chehalis
anything.
have like a casino or anything? I have no idea.
I think they do.
Yeah. But they could always just sell it to other people for advertising, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
It's a moneymaker.
It's a moneymaker forever and ever.
Exactly.
And ever.
I mean, we talked about how many cars passed by there when we.
It's more than 7.
It was more.
It's a little more than 7.
At least
cars.
9.
Yeah, geez, that's neat.
Well, and I heard they're gonna tell it like it really was back in the day. They're going to tell the true story of the United States as opposed to the one that's being
people's history.
The people's history, right? Which is great. That's America. You can free speech.
Yeah,
good for them.
Jeff, are you prepared to talk about VR forest bathing trials for seniors?
I'm not exactly 100% up on that.
It sounds interesting.
It does, but I just say leave old people in the woods. It's a twofer.
Well, I'll tell you, interesting experiment people can do at home is like in the morning when you wake up and you're feeling shitty and you're like, oh, this is a shitty day. Well, of course it's going to be a shitty day because you have a bad attitude. But if you wanted to turn that frown upside down, the brain doesn't know the difference between a fake smile and a real smile, right? A sincere smile. So what you can do is just put a pencil in your mouth like this, walk around for 10 minutes with it in your mouth and take it out, and it does something to your serotonin, and it switches the mechanism that's internal from the frown to this.
Wow.
And so with the VR headset and that sort of thing, because they're not as mobile as some, being able to put them out there. Have you tried the Apple?
Is that like literally putting them out to pasture?
Depends on the program. Which program?
I've done different VRs, not recently, but
it's insanely realistic.
It really is?
Yeah. So go down to the Apple store and check out the. I don't know what they call them.
Is it the Oculus?
The Oculus, maybe?
Is that the Microsoft one?
I don't remember. But as far as the demonstration that they give to you, you play a video game, you go through a bunch of actual programs of how you can set up your room, and so you can have a TV here, computers over there, all virtual within the structure of this, and it remembers where it's at, what's on those items, what channel you're on, there goes the Boeing train.
Whoa.
Woo.
No.
Anyway, and then they go into the demonstration where they have this beautiful woman who's out on a tightrope out over the top of like the Grand Canyon, and it's the most high resolution image you can see, and it's like you're out there. It's like you're on that with her, hanging out there in the middle of nowhere. When you look down, you look down, and it's the ground, exactly.
Wow.
So I can imagine, similarly to your mind not knowing whether you're smiling or not, same thing happens is putting someone outside in an environment that they couldn't readily get to because they live in a city or they whatever. The physiological effects that your brain changes
with being in nature.
It compensates. It thinks you're there. It doesn't know the difference And so having maybe some light therapy along with that would be a great addition.
Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah. But I think so, right? Like pine or something if you're in a forest. Or, that makes sense to me.
Turn on a fan and have somebody spritz a little.
Yeah, soaring. They got something down in Disneyland called Soaring Over California or something like that, where you get in this like thing and you fly, and it's just this giant thing, a huge screen in front of you, and you fly over orange groves and you smell orange.
That's neat.
Yeah, the ocean, ocean breezes and that sort of thing.
It's been a long time, but all I got was Captain EO. So.
Oh yeah.
What's Captain EO?
That was the Michael Jackson, George Lucas team up. And I think who's the Muppet guy? Jim Henson. I think it was like Jim Henson, George Lucas, and Michael Jackson.
Combo.
Yeah. At Disneyland?
It was a movie there. Yeah, it was in 3D.
Yeah, and it was almost, no, it wasn't a ride. It was just a...
I thought it was like a mini concert kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a IMAX kind of a thing?
Kind of a thing, yeah. Cool. Interesting. Yes, I think it's actually a really great idea.
Yeah, we're just brushing the tip of the iceberg as to what these things are going to be able to accommodate for and teach us how to do things. And
what's the rule? The technology gets like smaller and more capable.
Correct.
Right.
So like exponentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So I bet those will be light.
Moore's
Law.
Law.
You know what I mean? So you almost
Yep.
So you just got to forget they're there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Maybe go all the way down to contact lenses eventually or something like that. Yeah.
Crazy.
And then the brain chip probably just
just inserted.
Man.
I'm just looking for we always talk about the Wall-E part. And you just didn't.
Orange is the new blue. Wall-E? Hey, I didn't know we had a pool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What story should we talk about next, boys? Let's talk about the plant one. Plants emitting an ultrasonic scream under stress. The researchers at Tel Aviv University discovered they were drought stressed and like cut or like hacked up for landscaping or something.
Yeah, because the supposition that I had heard or running theory was that as they do that, just like when a bee gets squished, like that pheromone goes up, with the same kind of some type of signal, so that a bitterness can come into them, so whatever's eating them will not go to the next one.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now
Something
like that, or a type of Brix reaction where it makes too much sugar, so something can't eat it, or depending on the. But that's part of the Secret Life of Plants talks about that.
Yeah. Well, I think this is referring to the idea of similarly. Back in, I think, the 70s, there was a study done where they took brine shrimp and they dumped the brine shrimp, well, they hooked up electrodes to plants, and then they had the plants in that room, and right next to it they had a boiling pot of water, and then they dumped brine shrimp into it. And as they dumped the brine shrimp in it, the plants screamed. Well, I mean, they didn't literally like,
it wasn't inaudible.
It wasn't like some cartoon kind of like... thing. It was a response in the machine that was measuring their biofeedback, and it was repeated over and over and over again.
Wow,
which is pretty cool. So it knew, it had empathy or something.
Well, it knew that it was communicated between the two somehow
through the ether, through
whatever
something.
that means, and a reaction. Yeah, I don't know, because they don't have a distinct nervous system in the same way that you think a animal does, right? Although you got a mushroom thing down here, a mycological thing, and that same they behave as a nervous system.
Yeah.
Is it a type of nervous system, or just too focused on this design as a nervous system, right?
Yeah. Well, you can also take a plant leaf, and you can cut it. And with special analysis, measurement machines, whatever they are, they're taking a look at like the biofeedback of the electromagnetic energy coming from that, and where the plant is cut, the original line of where the plant was still exists out from what, even though it's not there anymore.
Like a false limb?
Yeah, like a ghost limb.
Yeah, it's like a ghost thing, but it's only detectable with a certain type of machine or instrument.
Yeah, but why would that field still exist? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know. I think it maybe lends itself to the idea that, when we die, we stick around for 10 minutes or something like that and make sure everybody's okay, or I don't know.
Yeah.
There's stories where people die and then they come back.
Yeah.
And they said, I was right there. I was watching you guys look at me. And there's something along those lines.
Yeah.
Maybe something along those lines. I mean, it's a much weirder thing than we can even imagine that's actually going on in front of us. The electromagnetic spectrum of only 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah. No, we do this. I think it's a twofer, right? Because we're capable of seeing this, and we see this because we're capable of seeing this, right? It's like...
Well, we have the instrument to be able to sense it, right? The 5 senses. And then we have a brain, right? We're not a body. We're actually just a brain and consciousness. And that consciousness, where the hell does that come from? It's like tuning into a radio station.
Yeah,
we actually we are a receiver of information of the universe.
Yeah, there's no way to prove that we're not. That's for sure.
Right.
Because it's neat. It
is very neat. I think it's one of my most fascinating topics I like to explore. Is the mind and how that works, because we are a body, but really we're only a perception of all the things around us. We're perceiving these things through electrical impulses through our brain, right? And that's just the weirdest thing. I mean, we feel like this is real. It is to us, right? But with the double slit experiment and that, what's the location? Non-locality and the particle-wave duality.
Non-locality is too fucking weird, man.
It is. It's very, very strange. But
and just et cetera. So just how all these, because everything's just like orbs of influence, right? When you get down to like quanta and just atomic and molecular and all that kind of stuff, because it's just how they take how little bits of energy that are in and out behave around other little bits of energy that are in and out.
Yeah,
right. Because that's
that are
the
on
field
or off
mechanics, and that's the world's worst explanation for field mechanics. But that's all that is. It's everything's force is in and out, in and out, in and out, with a probability blips, right?
Right. Probability.
And it's how they behave with each other, and we don't know fucking thing about it, right? Not really. So just barely scratched the surface in the last like 70 years, right?
Yeah,
barely.
Quantum mechanics. Everything is quantum mechanics.
Yeah, plant cells and stuff like that. There's terribly complicated systems. Super duper duper. We have no idea the hows and the whys and the wherefores.
But with like
how those really interact.
CRISPR and all these new technologies that are coming out, like what is that? AI computers, the supercomputers that are coming out that can solve the world's most complicated equation in 10 minutes, where it would take the biggest supercomputer millions of, or maybe hundreds of millions of years, which is inconceivable that something would be working for that long on a problem. But that's how long that problem would take. And to even comprehend that, it goes beyond my comprehension of understanding and awareness. I just have to believe, right? It's all a belief system. Once we get to that, like believing
stuff that's really difficult for a brain to deal with.
It is numbers that are so large and so small.
But that's why human superpower is writing it down, because we can conceptualize and then talk to other people to share that conceptualization of what these ideas are. Right? Those gigantic, the Goodwill Hunting, problems on the whiteboard or whatever. It's one person can't do that. Newton kind of came close. You know what I mean?
But Newton discovered a new math.
He kind of
he's a badass.
Found that, right? But it takes a lot of brain power and the ability, not just talking to each other, but having the ability to write it down and have somebody from some other time and place know what that writing means.
Right.
You know what I mean? That is so, I cannot overemphasize how important of a superpower that is for us. Just like this. So we need to hand that down for generations.
Pen to paper.
File it away.
That's right.
Put it in the...
when someone gets a hold of this, they're going to like, what? But mushrooms can do what?
Well, speaking of mushrooms,
I heard they rate good.
That they can store electric electrical memory. Scientists found that oyster mushrooms conduct electrical impulses and can, quote, remember voltage patterns for short periods of time.
That's interesting.
Which, mushrooms you just think of as, but you were just saying, like the central nervous system of.
I mean, because the way they interact with their surroundings and different species and blah, 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 it is very much like a nervous system. It really
totally.
is, right? And just because it's
massive
not on a spinal cord, but I guess even bugs don't have spinal cords, and neither do plankton, but they're still fucking living things. They have nervous systems, right? And complicated brains.
Doing amazing things.
Doing mass shit.
Amazing things.
Mass.
Yeah. And mushrooms, I guess, are like the thing. They're
pretty bonkers.
They're the extraterrestrial aliens that were brought.
Maybe because they've been around just about as long as anything. At least anything on the surface, and they're not necessarily exclusive to the surface either, right? Because
they don't necessarily need light.
Funguses can do all sorts of cool shit, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We talked about how deep, with the pigs and like Chernobyl, digging way down.
Yeah. Dude, that's
getting to
what?
Our town should sell Chernobyl pig truffles. Yes.
We got to import.
There's a revenue stream.
Well, there ain't no sanctions no tariffs on Russia. So I bet we could.
Lovers don't put tariffs on lovers.
Oh my god! So that's what we need, dude. Chernobyl bacon truffle.
In coffee, though, you got to make it like the mushroom coffee. You got to do it in coffee.
I like it. I don't know about the pigs, though. I don't know. I've never heard about that.
We'll do the pig. They've been able to trace like really deep isotopes, radioactive isotopes in pigs, as opposed to other animals, because truffle pigs dig deeper down. And even before Chernobyl was Chernobyl, there was a lot of nuclear testing in that area.
Right.
So and all that heavy isotopes are just sinking deeper and deeper into the earth.
Okay.
So to get down, so when you have like a
haven't they heard of a shovel?
Come on, boy.
When you see like
they're using pigs to do that?
The deer population are getting less radiation kind of thing, but it's the pigs that are still getting, because they're digging down.
Because that stuff's heavy as fuck, even small amounts. It's bad when it's airborne, but it really desperately wants to be at the center of the earth. Let it go. It's heavy as fuck.
So it's going to get down in the water table and they'll get spread. It's nasty. Humans are stupid. They're brilliant.
I know.
But they're also stupid.
Yeah, we're emotionally unwise a lot of it. Because, we can make this cool shit, right? But then we're like, oops. Look what I did.
I did hear today, I thought this was interesting, that you can dig a hole to China if you start in Argentina.
You cannot. No way.
It's physically possible.
You mean you can get one of those,
like the core, that dumbass. Just drive it right from Argentina.
I just like thinking like a trench. It just would be one continuous trench, not really a hole.
Just get one of those.
What do they call Dish witch. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
You get down there, you find the mole man.
It's always the mole man.
Argentina.
Starting in Argentina, I guess there's probably just a clear pathway where you're not hitting
like the boiling
or the
uranium soaked core. It's a rough joint, bro.
What is the furthest that anybody's ever drilled? It's like 12 miles?
They've got a
maybe.
Funky ass place.
Russia, I think,
right?
did it. There's the hole.
There was that natural hole there, though.
Mel's hole? Oh, I don't know.
Pardon me?
No, Mel's hole is from coast to coast.
I don't know, Putin's butthole, I think they call it.
Deep.
No, but there's like that. I can't think of the name of it. It's in Siberia, right?
Yeah, it's a really big hole.
A really big hole. But really, as far as like mining, I think it's like 12 miles or
something like that, which is deep as fuck.
That's a long way
down. It's a long way down.
So that idea, if you fall through the earth, right? If you were going to fall through the earth from one point to the other, it would take you the exact same amount of time to fall from the equator to the equator on the other side as it would at any other point on the Earth as it comes back down to the pole. So if you're really close to the pole and you dig a hole all the way to the opposite side of where that is from the pole, pole's down here, you would fall. It would take you just as long to fall from up here at the equator all the way through as it would to fall through. I heard that from Neil deGrasse Tyson. I just have to believe it.
I don't know why.
It's because the speed at which you pick up terminal velocity or whatever you fall through is you keep building up speed. But as you get further down, it's a shorter distance as you get further closer to the pole, and the effects of gravity as you go past the center line have the same effect as you do all the way throughout the entire globe. Isn't that fascinating?
Interesting.
Yeah. If that's true, but it's from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
He's done the math. No,
he did the math.
Yeah,
he's
I'm not going to argue with it.
I thought that was a really fascinating.
Yeah, that's neat. And he's really good at explaining those fun facts.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
He was one of our guys to send to the aliens, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take him so he can explain it.
I saw him.
So he can come back and explain it to us. Yeah.
I saw him at the Paramount
Nice.
a couple years back, and he was just really entertaining.
Yeah, he's doing like a tour right now with Shatner, right?
Yeah, Bill.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I
gotta
like
be
that.
something.
Oh, shucks.
Right. They're both cards. I mean, they're both
No,
humorous.
That's good entertainment.
And Tyson beats him up because Shatner doesn't know shit.
Right.
Well, he's not a physicist,
No,
right?
he has an opinion.
He's TJ
Plays
fucking
one on
Hooker,
TV.
bro.
He's TJ Hooker, but he doesn't know something. He's not a physicist, so sometimes he says some bullshit stuff, and Tyson just puts him
Well,
in his
when I was
place.
doing Warp Factor 7, Neil.
Yeah, Neil, have you ever done Warp 7?
Have you even met an Andorian?
Yeah. Have you ever made out with an Andorian?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a box of Klingons?
Yeah.
So good. I started watching Star Trek original. Just because I needed something light in
Little
my
distraction,
head. So I watched some last night. It's
That's cool.
It is. It's like theater because it's early TV on a sound stage, a small one.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're not a high budget show, man.
I was going to say it's not a huge.
So
budget.
no, they're working in a couple of 100 square feet total.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're working.
But
so it is a lot of theater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of exaggerated motions, and all that, because you just got to fill up a small room. You know, it's hard.
Gene Roddenberry
for
was
like
genius, though.
$8.
He was a genius.
No, and they're well done. They are. You know,
Yeah.
for being more. Science fiction's always been the hiding place of moral tales, right? That's how they sneak it in on you. You know, it's like.
Interesting,
and they're good at it.
Interesting little factoid. Georgia broke her leg in soccer back when she was about 12, I think, or something like that, 12, 11. And she was in a mom and daughters group with Melinda, and one of the wives, or one of the moms that was part of that whole mother-daughter group was Scotty's wife. Yeah.
She is a
Wendy, I think, or
supporter of the RCT down the street. At least they were when Scotty was still alive. James Doohan.
So Wendy Doohan, his wife, let us borrow Scotty's wheelchair. So we had Scotty's wheelchair at our house for a little while.
Right,
Very nice of her.
Right on.
So
nice. Had he passed at that point?
He was gone. But they lived out on a lake. I went out to their house for an event, barbecue of some kind, and beautiful house, modest, nothing too big or anything, but just a gorgeous little lay of land out there. I can't remember what lake it was.
Do they have any tribbles?
They did. We weren't allowed to see them, but there was a pen in the back. We could hear them.
Yeah, you got to keep them separated.
Did she go back to soccer? Or was she done with soccer?
Georgia?
Yeah.
No, she went back to soccer.
Oh, man. All right.
Continued on. And she broke her leg out at Starfire. When she broke her leg, she literally broke her leg. It was so loud. Everybody was just in shock. And
let alone the kid, right?
it was like, ooh, that was something happened there, right? Because when she went to go pivot, it just snapped and it made a noise. It was crazy. I remember running over there, and she was just looking at me in shock, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was going to
Somebody boil some water.
I was going to pick her up. Yeah. Jeff, go boil some water.
Some sheets.
Give him something to do.
Yeah.
But I was going to carry her to the car and get her to the hospital right away. It wasn't compound or anything, but it was a pretty.
Like, oh, you'll walk it. I was like, crack.
Rub some dirt in it.
Yeah.
Dude, walk that off. This wasn't one of those ones where she was going to walk it off. You moved her at an inch, and she was just like in pain.
Poor kid.
I've never broken a bone.
You better knock on that wood on the side.
I know.
Yeah.
53, almost 4, never broke. Actually, I think I broke my little toe once, but that was
That's not.
No, and parents are like, walk it off.
Yeah.
I'm not spending $100 to get you a
But
cat.
you really learn how much that little pinky toe does.
Oh yeah.
Does for your stability, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
I have this innate ability when I don't have shoes on to just smash my feet into everything possible.
God,
doesn't
reverse
matter.
Superpower.
Yes, exactly.
So if you were to take your shoes
when
off right now,
when I have my shoes on, never bump into
Satellite
anything.
falls out of the sky.
As soon as my shoes are off,
bam.
So I almost want to go to sleep with my shoes on.
That's funny.
They're all gnarly. They look
my
like,
God.
oh, I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
It's
Kicking your
what
toes. Kicking your.
It sucks.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Boys, Ananda Lewis passed away. I don't know if you're going to remember her. She passed away at 52. I think she had a cancer. She was an MTV VJ back when MTV was still a thing, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I had kind of given up on MTV probably, I don't know, early 90s. But she was big in like Total Request Live and stuff like that. You would recognize her if you saw her, but at a young age of 52, man.
Bummer.
Did they say what she passed from?
Some kind of cancer. She had been battling breast cancer a few years ago, and
If you guys want my take on cancer, I've had it 3 times now. Currently battling it as well. It sucks, but I think the worst thing is the fuckers that are giving you. I'm talking about the doctors. Those fuckers don't know what the hell they're doing. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall.
See what sticks.
Literally, because everybody's different. You're different than the person that it worked on. It may not work on you because you don't have the same metabolism or what have you. It's not the same exact strain or what have you. But all of the complications that come from it, my pancreas got killed, the rheumatoid arthritis, just the PTSD, the trauma that comes from being that sick is really, really shitty. And so I would go to natural medicine and meditation and grounding and breathing. Right. Those are my recommendations. And if you want any tips or tricks on my health whatever, I'd be happy to talk with you.
Yeah, you big guy that's been there, man.
I've been there, done that, man.
And those suggestions. The side effect is they improve your quality of life.
Huge.
And whether you're sick, healthy, it doesn't matter.
No.
Your life's still going to be improved.
Yo, man. And why not have a great life? Why not have a really fantastic, healthy life?
Sounds complicated.
Well, if you believe a lot of people as they get older, they believe they're getting older. I'm getting old. I can't do that. Well, of course you can't because you're saying you can't.
Yeah, sure.
Like the chairs that old people get that lift you up out of there.
Yes.
Fuck that.
I kind of want to get one that's like turbocharged.
Just
So you have to have like
a cape.
a little mini parachute.
Oh, yeah, parachute.
Squirrel suit.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot. That's a distance. Yeah, that sounds like an explosion.
You got to get the doyoing.
It's a single use.
Boys, also rest in peace, Sly Stone. Died at 82. He was born Sylvester Stewart, but Sly and the Family Stone was the first major rock group to not only be like a mixed race group, but also a mixed gender group. So he really put together a band of many faces. But he was one of the early pioneers of kind of that funk sound.
Yeah.
Him and Parliament, and of course James Brown.
Good songwriter and arranger.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he did really good work.
Yeah, and I think
they as a group, but yeah, he was certainly a big part of the group.
And by the 70s, man, I think he just late 70s, he was too heavy into extracurricular narcotic behavior and stuff, and just kind of fell off. I think he had a little bit of a resurgence maybe in the mid 90s.
I think there's a film about him.
He had a resurgence, meaning with he
just
wrote another album, or
just more playing,
music,
more
playing,
concerts,
going out,
stuff like that. I think he was sampled quite a bit and stuff like that. But
what's his famous song or famous songs? Give me a
dance to the music. Just with the whole band going off, and they all get to introduce themselves.
Like trumpets,
just
and
the whole. I mean,
deal.
he had like the band, right?
The band,
it was backup singers and probably a couple guitarists and himself,
piano,
and everyday people.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to sing that?
I know
what happened to the music industry where it just went shitty downhill and stopped kind of talking about the issues and just started talking only focused on negativity and
Well, we did get twerking out of it.
Fucker. Yeah.
So
that's a positive, I guess.
I mean, every rose has its thorn, baby. That was the other 38%.
Well, there's so much music out of the 60s and 70s and even 80s that came.
Well, because it was pushing boundaries instead of hopping on bandwagons. Although there's plenty of hopping on bandwagons and shit.
Well, you got to look at society at the time of what rock and roll was, right? Because like in the late 60s with the turmoil, Vietnam War, all that stuff, it was inflection, and it was about what was happening at the time.
Right.
But then as the stuff started to improve, you got a little bit of disco in there.
Sure. Yeah.
80s, the decade of decadence, so you got the party bands and
Kacha Goo Goo.
Nice. Yes, Kacha Goo Goo. A perfect example. But your Motley Crues, your decadent guys, your
but we didn't mix. Remember, I mean, all into the 60s, white people didn't listen to black people music.
True.
And
yeah.
You know what I mean?
They did. Of course they did.
It wasn't on
the top of the pops.
Radio. It wasn't on top of the pops.
I gotcha.
Who was the top 40 guy? The Casey Kasem and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a thing until it was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then it
it's
shifted.
Like,
Interesting.
But that was a huge step.
1956 is when you actually had people like Elvis Presley,
Wolfman Jack,
both on the R&B charts and on the pop charts.
And people were losing their minds.
Yes.
Losing their minds over Elvis.
Yeah.
Positively and negatively. They thought he was the Antichrist thing, right? And the other people were like, no, he is. I saw him heal a woman.
By just
did you see him move his hips? His hips could go left and they could go right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I still think there's always a place. There's always going to be, dance and feel good music, right?
Sure.
And then there's always going to be the bands that are more.
I guess you're right. The 70s was the messages from like the Vietnam era and that sort of thing. After Vietnam was 60.
Well, 64 to
64 to 73.
Yeah,
72. But you had all these great bands that came out after that. They were singing songs about freedom and about social issues and that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem like there's you got Taylor Swift who's singing about her boyfriends.
Yeah.
Well, and we got rap.
Yeah,
So
but that's
rap,
also the most negative and the most toxic.
Some, but not.
It's
not
toxic.
All. No, we still got
not all, but
like Nas and got Nelly.
That's a CIA office.
I know.
Let's take off all our clothes.
Well, the NWAs and the
that was the CIA.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no,
exactly.
I know. I wrote a college paper on that. Oh yeah, no, the whole the birth of that, because it happened at the same time guns and crack cocaine were being brought in. right?
By Manuel Noriega.
Online was talking about what a great time the 80s were. I'm all like, what?
For some people,
it wasn't all Breakfast Club and 16 candles.
Man,
mountains of cocaine.
Dude.
Yeah.
But our CIA was bad in the 80s.
Yeah.
They were not good people, dude.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I don't think they're very good now.
More than likely not.
Yeah.
And, hopefully we don't find out that they were somehow worse than that, but it was bad. They were doing really, which is all the more reason we should have made a Marshall Plan for Latin America.
Yes, yeah.
From the 50s on up.
Yes.
We really did, because we, wanted to make sure the Soviets did, or whatever it was. Doesn't matter. But they deserved a Marshall Plan after that, right? Because how many, migrants are we getting from, say, Germany and Japan?
Right.
7.
To come work, to come work in our fucking fields, right?
Only
it's
7.
Yeah.
But they're the best of the best.
Yeah.
The best migrants.
You know what I mean? It's like Marshall Plans work. I guess there was one. but it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do? But anyway, rest in peace.
Yes.
Mr. Stone.
And let's let these guys go by. Be safe out there, fellas and gals.
Yeah.
Also, rest in peace, just like a couple days ago, Brian Wilson.
Yeah, that's a
from
big
the Beach Boys.
Somebody mentioned that he was like one of the greatest songwriters of
not my particular
area.
fan of his stuff, but
like Gershwin, compared to like Gershwin and other people.
Yeah. I guess
Is that
he
a
really
thing?
was a fan of Gershwin. I don't, but I think Bob Dylan and who's known as said he was the best songwriter.
Yeah, I know. When Pet Sounds came out, Pet Sounds, he really went into the studio and worked, and think Good Vibrations. That's the big hit.
Yeah, for sure.
That really worked on, took notes from Phil Spector and figured out that wall of sound and those layered
Spector was the producer, sound producer.
His production's way better than Spector's.
I think so.
You can tell because Spector was on cocaine. I don't think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like it changes how you hear stuff.
Yeah,
and you can kind of tell. And I'm not knocking it. But
cocaine or
that wall of sound from Phil Spector. But he was good, man. He was good at it. But it's kind of so poppy that it's
it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of California
We're
guy.
talking about like the layering of all of the parts and pieces to it. It was 5 guys in the band, right?
Yeah.
But the way they
was
did
the
it
main
was
songwriter.
Yeah.
I think
and
Mike
arranger,
Love,
right?
And arranger,
and he was producing all that shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because the studio stuff the Beatles had for like Sgt. Pepper, which I think he preceded, right? Is he before that?
But wasn't he?
It was the same year, right? They came out.
Maybe.
But even the Beatles were like, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Right.
Just how he because it holds up to this day.
Yeah.
The production value really does.
The Beatles. The Beatles were saying that.
Beatles were in awe
of the Beach Boys.
Wilson.
Brian Wilson.
And I don't know if his songs and I'm not a musician, so I hear it because I like it and it moves me.
Yeah.
But they're like, they have the ear for the creation of it, and they're like, holy shit.
No, Good Vibrations is insane. Go home tonight, everybody, and listen to Good Vibrations on headphones.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't. Don't get the remastered one. If there is one, get as close to authentic as possible.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, it holds up.
I'll have to do that.
It does. It really does. And it is pop.
It really is.
But just go, roll your eyes back in your head and it's all tone and vibration.
Yeah.
So just follow the patterns, all these deep patterns of tone and vibration, right? Just like you do. Like I listen to German opera sometimes. Yeah. Why? But anyway, because I don't know the language. And even, you know what I mean? So I can just kind of drop into it and it just becomes pattern and tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking great, man.
And you're not familiar with it, so you're not judging it, you're not having you're just appreciating it.
And it's not defined by the lyrics. Because lyrics define where that song is going, because that's how it's making meaning with us and it's not just a dream.
Yeah.
Right? Language cements things. Right, for the individual, right? It's different for everybody else, but tone doesn't. You know.
Well, that's
what I mean?
how I learned that a verb was a verb and a noun was a noun. You know.
Yeah.
Language.
Yeah.
A noun's a person, place, or thing. Yeah. That whole thing. But wasn't Brian Wilson on drugs too?
I think later.
So he recorded. He was the main songwriter. I think Mike Love, his cousin. It was he and his two brothers, their neighbor Al Jardine, I think his name was, and then their cousin Mike Love formed the Beach Boys. Their dad managed them for a bit. He sort of became the main songwriter by the late 60s, and the Pet Sounds that we're talking about. He wanted to kind of step back from touring and performing, so he would mostly just work on their albums, and then the boys would all go out and do the tours and stuff like that. Sort of fell out of favor with them. He famously was involved with the Manson family.
He was having a lot of psychological trouble.
Yeah.
So I think he was prone to
being taken advantage of.
Yeah, and just like hallucinating and stuff, right? It's like, it was tough on him.
Well, he grew up in the age just prior to the acid, dropout, the Timothy Leary time.
Yeah, well, I bet it was around his circle, though.
Okay, because that's what he was tripping out on. He was using psychedelics.
I don't know if he was using psychedelics.
Or he was just having a mental break.
Yes, he was having a break.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he had picked up a couple of hitchhikers that ended up being some of the gals from Manson's group. And they sort of moved into his house for a while, and he was going to record some of Manson's songs, and stuff like that. And then he kind of figured out that, okay, these guys aren't good.
Charlie's not your buddy.
Yeah, we're not good. So he kind of distanced himself. But he also went through a time when his manager, I think people say that he was getting taken advantage of, kind of controlling him because he was in such a mental state.
No, and I think that
Manson was?
Brian Wilson's manager.
Okay.
I can't think of the guy's name.
No, but I think that a lot of times we saw it with Prince, we saw it with Michael Jackson. It's like these guys need a Dr. Feelgood, or management gets them a Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, you're feeling too up? Here's some down. Feeling too down? Here's some up.
Yeah.
You're a little nervous? Here, this will chill. You know what I mean? So that they're much more malleable, right? And then, I don't know, bad management can take advantage of that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. It's like
Elvis, I think, had that
that's
same thing.
bad doctrine, right?
Yeah, jeez.
Unless you're at a party. Yeah. And then that's good doctrine.
Yeah, I'm going to a Diddy party. What do you got?
A bunch of baby oil. Yeah. And then I guess he had a follow-up to Pet Sounds, which was called Smile.
Much later,
worked on it. Well, he'd worked on it for quite a bit and then decided to shelve it. And then I think they released it in the 2000s, something like that. But he kind of came and went with the band. After he sort of dropped out, Mike Love kind of became the leader of the Beach Boys.
Yeah, what's the
Jaruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you.
It is just it's like
Cocktail.
It's just the softest pitch you could ever put into a song.
It is.
I mean, it even had Uncle Jesse from Family. What's the
He was
show?
on the.
They broke that song like on.
Yes, on what was the show?
Not Full House.
Full House, yes. I mean,
Nice
the
one, Mike.
softest bubblegum shit you can get.
Oh my god.
That got aired.
Yeah, it was like the premiere.
That was the premiere of that song.
Yes, yeah.
I think it was in that Tom Cruise movie too.
It was Cocktail.
The Cocktail movie, yeah. But this is the fucking pinkest bubblegum you can
Brian
find.
Johnson's like, this is why I have nightmares.
And then I guess Mike Love sued him in the 90s because he claimed that he, I guess they found in his favor, so maybe he did, co-wrote a bunch of the songs.
Oh, geez.
So he got some back.
That's fine. Yeah, if that
royalties,
really
stuff
is the
like
deal,
that.
yeah.
So I always would want somebody that contributed to a song to get their due. Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, bummer. And I think songwriters and creatives are often very sensitive to this world, so they kind of medicate or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you got a lot to be sensitive about. I mean, look at what
Also true.
what's her name, the Eras Tour, Taylor Swift. She did that whole process where she rewrote all her songs and circumvented those
Brilliant.
contracts that
Brilliant.
really pigeonholed her. And like most people in the music industry get kind of fucked.
Yeah, well,
and they get just like a penny. They end up going broke.
They're just the mule. You know what I mean? And everybody's doing the work, right? Yeah. And some of it's a big machine, right? You still have to hire road crew.
Sure.
Blah, 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 let alone all of it. But,
but there's a significant amount of money that's taken by the record company for the other people's work.
Because we're putting out all the risk.
Yeah. I mean, those contracts are so complicated and have such a... And you're so excited. You're like... A label's looking at me? You're like, I'm going to be on stage.
A great movie for that is That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
They just signed the contract, but he's like, hey... You signed it. Yeah. This is the next step.
This is the deal.
Is Tom Hanks? Is that Tom Hanks?
He's their manager.
Their manager. He becomes their manager, and it kind of is what it is, right?
Whatever happened to Bo Diddley's money?
Yeah, geez. Boys, so rest in peace, Brian Wilson.
For sure.
Thanks for giving us, a little deuce coupe and all this
just kind of because once that production level is achieved, just like Sgt. Pepper's, right? And everybody's like, well, the bar's raised. Right now,
yes.
Oh, yeah, so that's cool. And hopefully, I've never listened to Taylor Swift, and I don't know if she produces her own stuff, hopefully.
Right? I don't know how that all works.
But she writes all of her own stuff. I know that. So,
but I mean, to produce it, that means you're doing the EQ stuff and you're producing,
she's making the instruments, choosing the
right, what Brian Wilson was doing, right? Is just making the whole thing sound the way it is. I don't think she's doing that part of it, but she is doing the song.
She's right? No, that's legit. Right? I'm not knocking any of it. No, it still work. Oh yeah.
And kudos to her for taking on the industry and just doing it her way.
Brilliant move. And I think, like John Fogerty, we talked, I think, last week, he's doing his own, John's version kind of songs. He re-recorded all of his hits with his family. But I think he's probably like kicking himself, why didn't I do this 50 years ago?
You didn't know how, it seemed
nobody knew.
Daunting.
Plus he had, put me in, coach.
And then
ready to play.
The fucking record company sued him for recording Run Through the Jungle, which sounded too much like, or he recorded Old Man Down the Road, which sounded too much like Run Through the Jungle.
So shitty.
Went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, you can't really plagiarize
his
yourself.
His own song.
That's lame.
It's fucking crazy. The shit that he had to go through. But again, on the flip side of that, and I think his band would say, dude, you negotiated and signed that contract for us, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know the details.
I don't either.
Happened?
I don't know.
Oh, they're all different, but they're all got the basic same.
Yeah, Johnson
program.
forged 3 other names and got an extra 20 if I did it now.
20. Get it done. Boys, let's play a little game called Myth or Fact. I'm going to throw a statement at you, and these are like common beliefs or common disbeliefs that people have on certain things. And you guys tell me if you think it's myth or fact. We're not going to keep a score, but we'll just go from there. So you guys have heard about cocaine, speaking of cocaine, being in the early recipes for Coca-Cola, right?
Sure.
Did the original 7-Up, do you think it contained an actual pharmaceutical?
Oh.
7-Up.
Like
7-Up. Because most of those concoctions came from druggists.
Sure. Oh, yeah, because they just mixed it up.
Like Pepsi Cola was supposed to be a digestive, right?
Yeah, I know.
To ease your stomach.
Yeah, like Pepsi, like a Bromo seltzer.
Yeah, exactly.
Bromo.
So, did
I'm going to say yes, that it started from a chemist's
I think with
mad lab.
With that knowledge, or at least it was based on something.
But I never heard that previous to this.
I didn't either. It is a fact. It contained lithium. Which is a mood stabilizer. So the original formula for 7-Up had lithium.
They just had lithium in a bottle somewhere. Tap in a little. Oh.
Have you seen those labels that from the back in the however long ago it was? You'd see bottles of drugs that had morphine and all these drugs that are now Schedule 1 drugs.
Yes.
just right there for you to take. Yeah.
In the drugstore that's not
Mommy's
locked
little
up
helper.
at all.
Yeah,
right?
maybe that was the good old 1880
Yeah,
something.
the good old days.
Yeah.
Oh man, we just did a project for a drug distributor in Everett. No signage on the building.
Yes.
Security cameras everywhere. Break-proof windows. Locked door. The whole gambit because it's very controlled.
Yeah, it's a medical.
Go all the way back to.
Oh yeah, because you can. There's a black market worldwide for stuff like that. For stuff that's labeled pharmaceuticals. Oh my God, no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Boys, you've heard the old adage that we only use 10% of our brains. Is that?
I read good.
It's false.
I say that's false.
It is. We use most of our brain at full capacity, even when we're sleeping.
What was the misconception there? I think it was taken out of context originally.
Is that what it was?
Right. Instead of the idea that we only use 10% of our brain, it was, again, Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of debunked that and said that never mind.
Sure. But we've been able to do brain scans that show the activity for some time now.
Especially when you're on mushrooms.
Recently, and it's an older movie now, I think it was the early 2000s, but a friend of the show, Johansson, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, was in a movie where she takes some kind of drug that's supposed to stimulate the brain.
Oh, yeah. Lucy.
Was that what it was?
Lucy.
And she ends up becoming like
a supercomputer.
Yeah, a supercomputer.
Yeah. She can manipulate matter. I love that movie. That was
just
great.
because when she got to like 15% of my brain, now I can like fucking levitate shit.
Yeah, she could do everything. She could do anything.
Yeah.
She could be anywhere at any moment. She could be anywhere in time.
Yeah, maybe it's just being able to open that perception, because anybody who has done psychedelics, it's your perception changes and you kind of see behind the veil to some degree. You know what I mean? So maybe she went so far that it wasn't that hard to change what was behind the veil. Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one person's levitation is just another person's,
perception.
Yeah.
Boys, animals out in the woods, they hibernate in the winter because it's so cold.
Well, they hibernate because there's less food. Right? So they got to conserve.
Mike's absolutely right. Scarcity of food sources in the winter. It's not because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's because there's not a lot of food.
It takes more calories to find calories than you get from the calories.
Have you seen a bear after it wakes up from hibernation?
Oh, yeah.
They look like shit. God, dude.
Not
Talk about
rested
bedhead.
Yeah.
There was a guy climbing around in a cave, and he goes, "Here's a hibernating bear."
Yeah.
He's like this close to the bear,
man.
and there's this bear just conked out. He's like he's on the ether or something
I bet
like
he
that.
smells great.
You know?
And he's just crop dusted himself for 90 days.
Yeah. Jeez, just living in his own filth.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in this.
Oh,
Right?
man. I learned that this has to be true because I saw it in the movies when I was a kid. A school of piranha can devour a human in seconds.
Because wasn't that one of our major fears?
Yes,
it was.
It's like killer bees, quicksand, and piranhas.
Yeah.
And sharks, of course.
Yeah, but to be eaten by a bunch of piranhas?
I'd be really mad about that.
I mean, depending on how many piranhas
Like you
there
put
are.
your toe in the water and it pops out and it's all
gone. Just a bone.
Yeah. I'm going to say false. Yeah.
I think it's true.
No, it's a myth. They're actually really timid fish and cautious. There's never been a recorded death of a human by piranha.
Oh, I didn't know that.
okay.
Gee, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
All right.
What about that weird thing that swims up your pee-pee?
What is that called?
I don't know. A nope rope.
I will say this. I spent about a week in Gulf Shores down in Alabama, and so doing a lot of swimming in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
And when you're standing in the water and above your waist, there's these little fish that'll just swim right up to your crotch, and they'll just fucking hang out right there. And you're like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Yeah.
I mean, and not a big fish.
Yeah.
Wouldn't fit up my urethra. I know that. But you could like reach down and then fling them, and then they just
No.
Are they waiting for you to make salt or something? Maybe they want.
maybe.
Yeah, they're waiting for you to pee to add to
Yeah,
the.
so is it like
Notice there's no pee.
Is it the Gulf of Mexico's version of the blue water that if you pee in a pool, it turns blue? So if you haven't showered before you go in the Gulf of Mexico,
Or if you're there,
you have a bunch of fish by your junk.
30 fish by this guy.
This guy hasn't showered.
Well, it was weird too because it was like one fish for everybody. It wasn't like there was a
one fish.
It's just like one little.
These were trained.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
probably
wacky.
it. It was
a
wacky.
tourist. Was it like in a little lagoon?
I don't know. It was Alabama.
Alabama.
Couldn't wait to get out of there.
I bet.
No.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. White sands. Alabama, we like you. Boys, despite every movie that ever shows it, you can't really pull a hand grenade pin by your teeth.
Just the once.
Yeah. Why can't you do that? It's way harder than it looks.
There's a lot of force, and I asked Bailey about this too because he did grenade throwing when he was in basic training because they had to practice doing it. And there is a certain amount of force that you have to.
I would hope so.
You couldn't.
Yeah, that shouldn't be something that could accidentally happen.
You could file it down. Do some work on it first and jury rig it.
Yeah, just like people that really light triggers.
Right, exactly. Hair triggers.
But you always see the movies where
It looks
Arnold's
cool.
running, pulls it with his teeth and throws a grenade. And
Oh man, that's some
all those
business.
good things.
Boys, we sweat to get rid of toxins out of our body. That sweat will remove toxins from your body.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Actually, reading that it's false. That it doesn't actually. It's the liver and your kidneys are the things that remove the toxins.
Right? Yeah.
We sweat to basically keep cool
ourselves.
Yeah,
but there's also meth salts, and I got 2 words for you: crystal meth. You see dudes that have been on meth for mass.
Just
there's something
there.
where you see something. Their skin's fucked up.
That's
maybe
true.
it's not their sweat. Maybe it's just their biochemistry.
I don't know if that's heavy metals though. Is
I don't know.
Is that heavy metals
it's
in
awful,
meth?
Is what it is. I don't know.
I think it's borax, isn't it?
So they're saying it false, but maybe it's more that you don't need to sweat to get rid of the toxins that your liver is supposed to do it for you. But I know the Native Americans would do a lot of sweat lodges and stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's how they kept so lean.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was a weight loss program.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know, because I could see salts and stuff like that carrying funky shit out.
Pores collect a bunch of shit, as is why you get blackheads and stuff on your body. So,
yeah. Well, maybe there's something more health related to the Indian sweat lodges and that sort of thing, where it cleansed, it reset your system of some kind.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about that.
Getting your temperature up, maybe blood flow or something.
So your liver's the only way that comes, because I want to detox my system. I want to have access to my pineal gland and all my faculties and everything. So I was sure that my sweating program was doing the job.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into.
Yeah, look it up.
I find that difficult to play.
Yeah,
and maybe it means what do they mean by toxins, right?
True. Yeah.
And why would some people smell funny when they sweat? Right. It's
Gallium.
Something's got to be coming out of that, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe the dirt, surface dirt,
Tostinos.
All that oil, all that pepperoni oil.
Gross.
Mike brought it up.
Mike's a connoisseur. That guy's had some Tony's pizzas.
I learned from Looney Tunes cartoons that if you're stuck in the snow, a Saint Bernard will show up with a keg full of brandy.
Oh, I love that
and
idea.
that'll warm you up enough to make it through the night.
That's exactly the way that works.
So does alcohol warm your body?
No, it's a terrible idea. Yeah, because it does. It opens your capillaries on. Yeah, so you'll
feel.
That's what they say that you're supposed to.
But
do
if I'm lost in the woods, yes. If St. Bernard comes by with booze, we're partying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it would be rude not to.
Yeah.
You big dogs. I'm just going to curl up next to him, right?
What's in your little keg there?
I'm going to drink his brandy, and then I'm going to cut him open like a Banta or a
Oh my God.
Tauntaun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to crawl inside.
Crawl inside of him.
That's
a
very
good
rude,
dog.
sir. Yeah.
That's why he showed up. He didn't show
Solo
up just to
follower.
have happy hour. He showed up to
He's
keep
also
you alive.
committing seppuku for you. What a guy. And I think because we were talking, that should be our double, bring America back to when it was great. The St. Bernard with the barrel of rum or whatever that is, and the guy in the barrel with the suspenders.
Right,
We
right.
need both of those back.
Barrels are expensive.
Yeah, I guess that's
And
when
heavy.
things went bad.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The good old days.
We all know that Napoleon was a really short dude.
That's what I
right?
heard, yeah.
Little hand in his pocket.
Yeah.
And they call it, that's a so-called Napoleon complex, where
Yes, it
littler
became a
people
whole
get
complex.
Yeah.
He
Which
was
is kind of a pop
actually-
science, right?
He was actually average
6'9".
size. No, he was 5. He was like 5'8", something like that.
Oh, okay.
5'6".
But compared to other
which
generals.
was an average height
Oh,
for
yeah, for
them,
that time,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that the British.
We're trying to get under his skin.
Well, to the victor goes the history books, right? So you're kind of able, and then so this
Makes
myth
sense.
about him being this little short guy.
He was overcompensating or something.
Yeah.
Lasted
My
through
true
history, right?
That pop culture thing. What's
still
up,
there.
Napoleon? Yeah.
Yes,
It's a derogatory term for some short people.
I bet.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
I could be self-conscious about certain parts of my body and that sort of thing from time to time. But
my toes, but
I'm glad I'm 6 foot. 6 foot's a decent height. I like it.
yeah, they do say shorter people will live longer because the blood doesn't have as far to go. The heart
but it's
doesn't
much
have to.
better.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is it because of that? Let's find out.
Yeah. It's because short people murder
Or did you see
tall
that on
people.
Looney Tunes?
Yeah, that's also a Looney Tunes.
Could be. Boys, myth or fact, Nebraska came up with a tourist slogan, and the slogan was, Nebraska, honestly, it's not for everyone.
Oh, I'll buy that.
I think that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They came up with this, trying to be like sort of self-deprecating and stuff
Leaning
like that.
into it.
Leaning into it, really leaning into it. That started in 2018. They just stopped it last year. Now I think what I could find the slogan is, nothing to do here, but then show like
cool
fun stuff,
Yeah, that's
right? Like people going down the river in a big
Raft. Yeah.
not a raft, but a those big
Barrels?
galvanized. Those big galvanized.
That's where all the barrels
farm
went.
thing for the farm
they're
tub.
great.
Yeah. Like a big one of
trough,
those,
like farm troughs?
Yeah, but like a big round one.
That's a
and
great
bunch of
idea.
People going down the river,
Fun.
and then hiking and all this stuff, and then they just nothing to do here, guys.
Well, the whorehouses of Omaha.
That's where they're at? That's where they're headed. They're headed south.
And then they're little,
Come on. And that's a Looney Tunes thing for sure.
Yeah. A dude in a barrel with suspenders.
Yeah.
And his St. Bernard with the barrel in a bucket.
Yes. On the way down the...
Going to Omaha.
Yeah.
When do I get to cut you open and sleep inside your dead carcass? Geez. I have to say my dad's family's all from Nebraska. That's where they got their start before they moved west.
Were they corn farmers? Or?
They were not. I don't know what they did back
That's a
in-
total
Stereotype.
myth.
But I mean, that whole industry needs support too, right? It's
Sure.
on the way to Chicago and back, we went through a part of Nebraska or something. But
Oh, that's right. You talked about that. Yeah.
Is Nebraska or is it Kansas that has the Tornado Alley?
Oh,
Jeez. Well, Kansas for sure.
It might be
but,
both of them.
It could
Maybe
be both.
both?
Yeah, I
Okay.
could see that.
yeah.
But Nebraska gets tornadoes too.
Because not that long ago, man, there were, millions of bison, right?
Yeah.
Just rolling through those plains and all the support creatures thereof,
Sure.
right? And plants and grasses with 10-foot root systems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just incredible amounts of biomass, right? Crazy amounts.
We really fucked this place up.
Well,
didn't
fuck, we sure changed it.
we got bigger guns.
We got bigger guns. Boys, just as America is facing a clown shortage, Japan is facing a ninja shortage.
Oh, I think that's true. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely 100%
All right, let's
true.
do it, Jeff. It's true.
It is true. There is a high demand for quote-unquote ninja shows.
Let's do it.
But it is a dying tradition, and companies have trouble finding properly trained ninjas.
Well,
What's a properly trained
that's
ninja?
great.
Well, I would think you have to be like a
Stealthy?
expert or master, maybe in kung fu.
Oh, well, ninjutsu, it's its own thing, right?
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's the martial arts form.
The tree that would stem from, yeah.
And that's
ninjutsu.
ninjas are ninjutsu
Yes, practitioners.
Can you be a ninja and also be like kung fu or karate?
Oh, geez, I don't see why not. They just specialize in like the, assassination techniques and stuff like that, stealthy stuff. I guess I don't mean to speak out of turn for it, but.
That's
But I mean,
that's what all the movies taught us.
but they don't really need real. Just like Gilly was talking about last week, they hire people and then make them look a certain way.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to be a ninja to look like a ninja in a movie.
Right.
And
You just have to wear the clothes.
Wait, Mike, what? Wait.
I mean,
American Ninja 2?
I mean, I know it really took
Michael
a long time to recast Godzilla. 'Cause
So you're saying in Japan the ninjas are it's a troupe of ninjas, kind of like the Cirque du Soleil.
or are they really doing assassinations? I don't know. Maybe
I just think that they are trained in the style, but maybe they are. I don't
So you
know.
have to be at least
Japan's,
physically
it's
capable
like-
of doing those
Yeah,
moves.
but I mean the wushu guys for kung fu movies that we've all seen. It's like a lot of them start as a kid, just like Gilly was going to clown school or whatever. They start in that Chinese circus, right, where they all get stretched and bent and learn how to do all that kind of acrobatic stuff.
Is that the Shaolin
it's not-
stuff?
That's almost never Shaolin, but once they learn those basics, then you can show them motions that are Shaolin.
Okay.
And they can do those and just like in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Michelle Khan at the time, she comes from a dance background.
Okay.
Right? So it's like...
So she's physically capable.
She learned all that choreography, but she was not from a martial arts background.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So what I'm saying, Japan, we got you. Where are the three ninjas?
Yeah, I've got the suit in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be the
wear a mask
Farley
in Fallout building.
I'll be
so
the
yeah,
Farley
yeah.
version of it.
But I remember it was really hot in the 80s. You guys remember that, right? And then,
Oh, it was big.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
it was huge.
Yeah, the turtles.
Oh, yeah.
They were like
And the
in
turtles
everything.
have never gone. They've stayed.
No, they're
pretty
very
solid.
relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we had the American Ninja movies
No, it was
with Michael
so big.
Dudikoff.
There was like six
but it
of
was
them.
like every like Steven Seagal.
Yeah, so much.
Oh, the ninjas come to the throwing stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. There's every...
And who didn't have a throwing star as a kid?
Yeah. Because you could just...
My dad wouldn't let me.
What?
Oh, yeah. You could just get them. You know what I mean? Oh,
No, I
yeah.
didn't even dare look at one.
Yeah.
My dad was so strict. No, you're not gonna. You're gonna put your eye out.
Yeah.
Yes, I will, but let me do it.
And if you live in the 900 block of 21st and you have a garage in there between Prospect and Aloha,
Oh, on Capitol
and there's
Hill?
a bunch of like double pinholes
Nice.
in your garage door.
Wrestler.
It's because we set one of us, I don't remember who, and we made a pencil line of a body
Yes.
on their garage door and sat there and practiced with our throwing stars.
But not on your own door.
Oh, my
No,
dad
no,
never
no,
beat me.
Smart.
Oh, it wasn't your door?
No, it wasn't our door.
Oh, my
It was the
God.
neighbor's door.
Smart.
Ah!
They're coming home. Stop.
Sorry.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, my dad would have beaten me.
Oh, the beatings. I could have just said that I was there watching, and I would have gotten beat.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Those were the good old days, though.
Yeah.
You got
They
beat for
were
shit.
just-
Yeah.
People
You're a
don't
real
beat people
ninja.
anymore.
No.
You don't beat your kids anymore. It's like
It's kind of
faux
frowned
pas.
on.
It
It's
did. It
frowned
went
on.
out of favor, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. Boys, chloroform is a great way to knock somebody out quickly.
Yes. Oh, I don't know about quickly.
Or knock somebody out.
You like with the
rag
walk
on
up
the
behind him? I don't know. I'm going to say yeah.
I would say yeah too. Not quickly though. Like
No, it can take quite a while. It's you see in the movies they shake the bottle with
Sure.
a rag and they put the guys out in like second. It can take like 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no,
All
you
right.
could just choke somebody out.
that's not chloroform then. That's that's like 7 Up.
Just a damp towel.
That's
It's the
lithium.
lithium.
Just really
Here, drink this. Drink this real quick.
What do you want to do?
Have you seen that ad?
Shove it down their gullet.
Have you seen that ad for the kids that are getting out of hand and the mom's sitting there, she's trying to fold laundry and the kid's just having a tantrum? There's a kid in a store. Now it's, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically chloroform. But it's for the mom. You know, there's the woman that has the baby, and she's about ready to put the kid's foot down the garbage disposal. Stop! We have this new product for you.
Just knock them out.
Just knock them out. He used to work at Shucks Auto Supply in downtown Seattle, right across from the Doghouse restaurant.
Shucks.
And we used to just fuck off all day. I mean, just
that's what you do when you work at Shucks.
Yeah, I mean, it was just not a busy store, but we would just get into trouble. We were always trying to short the car batteries out to, how many pennies can you...
You're learning. You're doing science.
But Paul, I think Paul is still managing the West Seattle store as far as I know, but
good job,
he used
Paul.
to walk over and grab the starting fluid, which was basically...
Nitro.
Right.
Yeah, ether.
And he would just... As a shithead, you'd be standing in the back at the parts counter or something. No, he would just do a launch of spray, and you'd be standing there. It's like, oh fuck, dude, and you'd have to go outside for 10 minutes to just get some oxygen.
Oh, really?
Going.
Was that?
Yeah.
It was that?
Oh, for me,
okay.
It was horrible. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was lighting it and just.
No, he'd knock us out, and we'd wake up in the bathroom with our pants around our ankles, like, what happened,
Steve?
Fucking Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
Damn.
You don't do that anymore, do you, Paul?
No, let's hope not. And actually, the chloroform doesn't last a long time. So, in the movies, you see the guy get knocked out really quickly, and then he's out for hours. Yeah. It's really not.
I wonder how they came up with that. Is this because that's a huffable agent that can knock you out?
And I always thought it was,
up for the purposes of
the cowboy era, right? The 1800s when you were going to have to hacksaw somebody's leg off, right? That they would chloroform you.
I don't know if they had chloroform back then.
Yeah, I don't know when that came out. I don't even know what it's made of.
I don't either.
Chlora.
It is,
It's 100%
it's
chlora.
Kind of the form of chlora.
Yeah, it's in the form of chlora. The shit ton of chlora.
I read good.
Well, speaking of breathing deep, we all know that trees produce most of the oxygen that we breathe here on this earth.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, no, it's the
ocean.
phytoplankton.
It is the ocean,
Yeah, I think it's the ocean.
You guys are good at this.
I think Amazon at one point was 20% though.
Yeah.
Just that Amazon, basin at all, right?
Really?
Yeah.
20%?
And then we did have vast forests, and Siberia still kind of does.
Yeah.
Isn't that the largest forest is in Russia?
I bet Russia's fucking huge.
It's a big
and I think 20-something% of the fresh water on Earth is in unfrozen is in that one lake.
Oh, wow.
In Russia.
Oh, really?
Because it's the deepest, weirdest fucking lake. You guys got to look that thing up. It's insane.
It's not like Lake Okeechobee in Florida.
Oh, I don't know.
Okeechobee. Yeah, it's in the middle of Florida. I think it's
It's
something like that. I think it was in a song.
Okocha.
I think it's a big one.
Yeah.
But the one in Russia is bigger. I didn't know that.
No, it's bonkers.
So the Great Lakes aren't the
bonkers.
biggest lakes in the world.
It holds
Superior.
more water than the Great.
So maybe
because
deeper.
it's super duper deep.
Interesting.
So that's why
Super duper
it is. That's why it's own.
He watched a lot of cartoons as a kid.
I think it's almost mile deep.
Wow.
For a freshwater lake. It's bonkers.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of ancient fucking creatures that still live there because it's been isolated and stable through all these massive changes on the surface, right? Yeah. Massive changes. But deep water, they don't care.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Wow, that's amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so they estimate 50 to 70% of our oxygen actually comes out of the ocean.
There's a lot of plankton.
Yeah, so take care of your oceans, folks. And your trees.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And I remember years ago I read of a system of increasing those types of phytoplankton to draw carbon out, right? And it's it's an iron oxide that you just pour behind your boat, and it feeds a certain type of phytoplankton that consume that and makes
That's great.
super bursts. Yeah, doesn't always work, but it sure can. But it's totally so. Just like if chemtrails were real, but you would do it in a boat on purpose, right? So just
Not
that's
like
part of the
chemtrails
cost of
aren't on
doing
purpose?
business. Maybe not. If
It's
they're
added
not,
to the gas, is what I hear.
I don't know. If it's not just, it could also vary, because that is a hydrocarbon being consumed there, so half of that is the hydrogen, and that makes water vapor. So
Sure.
that is a very real thing. Contrails are very real also. Whether or not there's a hyper-atomized aluminum to block fucking rays, I don't fucking know. Or whatever it might
I don't
be.
either. I don't know. So you're saying, though, that, what are you saying?
Yeah, that is a pretty proven thing, yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a technique we could put onto ships and shit, but we're just not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And that would help feed them?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah. The species that really do
Eat that stuff.
yes, and would therefore
And there's plenty of
consume
fucking
a bunch
boats
of
out in
carbon.
the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a certain depth or anything that you'd have
I don't.
to
It's
be
a certain
in?
area, right? Because they, all those types of species have decent sized windows they survive in, right? And then once you start that, because those are the bottom of the food chains, right? So
Right.
then a bunch of other stuff comes up. It's like it's a no lose situation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But we're gonna wait
Except
till
that
we
it
make
takes
them
up a room on
on a boat or
on the
something.
boat.
Yeah, I guess
it's
you're
like
right.
got the room. We
Gotta pay for that.
could put another 10.
Got to get a bigger boat.
That's a quote from Jaws for all of you.
Boys, if you're walking around cold and you're on Antarctica, you're screwed because no St. Bernard's going to come bring you brandy because dogs have been banned on Antarctica.
Oh, geez.
Oh, I thought it was a dry state. This is
it's 'cause
it's just
it's
a dry state, dry county.
No, I think you want booze if you're on Antarctica.
Probably.
Geez, no dogs. I'm trying to
No
think if
dogs.
I've ever seen any evidence of a dog.
When you were hanging out
I mean,
on the
I could
South
get
Pole?
that because maybe they're trying to keep it pristine from poop or whatever, and it's easier to keep human.
Oh, so
contained.
I
Right?
wasn't listening. So
They
it
have
was-
banned dogs,
They banned dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
on
Yeah.
Antarctica.
I'll say sure they banned them.
Why not? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not very
Yeah.
many people there.
Since 1994, the fear was that dogs would spread diseases to
Native creatures.
seals.
Seals and
Oh,
stuff.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So since 94, they have banned dogs from
Okay.
Antarctica.
Geez, I wonder.
Can't
if
you just like do the same thing you would do if you put one on a plane? You have to go and get. If I'm going to take my dog to
You would think so.
a different country, you'd have to get a
Yep, they go through a
quarantine.
medical
quarantine it
quarantine.
for let it run its course. All it,
Geez,
get
I don't know. That's
all
a
its
good
shit
question.
through it and get the parasites out of
Because
it.
if I was down there, I'd want my dogs. But I was trying to think of
Well,
the
and
thing.
I wouldn't want my dog. Yeah,
They had
exactly.
dogs.
I want a dog so
Yeah,
it
but they were.
warns me of
Were
polar
they on
bears.
the
No, that's
north,
not- they-
or were they in Antarctica? They were in Antarctica.
Antarctica, there's no
Yeah.
polar bears down there, right?
No, that's
Correct.
That's only north.
Yeah.
Penguins
The penguins.
down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a bunch of weird shit.
Unless
And
you're in a
those
Coke
fucking
corner.
jaguar seals and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yeah. They
Oh
look
man, you don't
like-
want your dog fucking with anything down there anyway. And if it's big enough to be hanging out and catch a mammal big enough to hang out with their dog. Oh no, he's hungry.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things look evil.
Oh man.
The teeth on those
Oh
things.
yeah. And because we look at penguins, we're like, look at how cute they are. A jaguar seal's like, yum, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat 30 of those today.
Get in my mouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
tastes like chicken.
Oh man.
A little cold, but
Yeah, and I have no idea what a penguin looks like underneath. What if their legs come all the way up to here? It's like an old man's pants. But then they've got
can
the
see
long
that.
overcoat.
Yeah,
So
they
you
have the
don't
long
know.
overcoat. Yeah, these little spindly legs that go up.
we got one hell of a drumstick, right?
They're basically just chickens of the south.
Oh man, they're crazy.
Boys, sliced bread was a great invention.
Yes.
But it was the invention of the television that sort of made us forget about sliced bread.
What?
Oh, that was the
That
next big
television-
thing. Yeah.
Outshone.
You mean the
No, 'cause
statement
we
like?
had radio in between, right? I'm gonna go probably not. I like sliced bread, but knives were available.
we had
Hey, that was too easy. Like, is that a trick question?
It's kind of true. TV was invented only 2 years after
The knife?
Sliced bread. No, nice bread.
Well, I get like packaged.
Like
you
packaged,
go to the
probably
store
like
and buy
Wonder
sliced
Bread.
Oh, okay. Prepackaged.
Everybody just got their own loaf.
Right. Cut your own fucking bread.
That's kind of how it was, though. You bought a loaf of bread from the baker.
Yeah.
Took it home.
Who are you? Who are you to tell me how thick my bread should be?
A slice should be.
Yeah.
I do like a big, thick slice.
Like I do like bread, man.
Yeah, bread's great.
It's good.
Great carbs.
So TV.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny to think that sliced bread and television were invented within 2 years of each
that's
other.
crazy. Yeah, I mean,
What's the term? Something that's sliced bread? Like there's
that's the best thing since
sliced bread. Yeah, like
Which
that was
is
an
TV.
invention.
Yeah,
It's
which
just
is
TV.
TV, right?
Okay.
It's only that was only 2 years ago.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, because we didn't, I mean, that's when roads were kind of going, we didn't have distribution like that. Stuff was way more localized, right?
Yeah.
And then after TV,
You went to the
much
butcher,
more
you went
so.
to the baker.
Yeah.
I still have-
Candlestick maker?
I still have a great memory of going and getting milk and eggs from the local, and it was in bottles. It was glass bottles.
Yeah.
And stuff settled, and it was a deal.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, pasteurized but not homogenized. Yeah.
What's the difference? Pasteurized is heated.
It's heated in a
Homogenized
in a
is-
vacuum, not a vacuum, sealed system.
Right, like a pressure cooker kind of a thing.
Yeah.
What's the other? What's homogenized?
Homogenized means it gets shaken so hard that the fats don't rise to the top. They get emulsified in the whole thing.
Wow.
It's the opposite of when you spin something.
Right, to separate
Yes,
things.
it's the opposite of that. You jiggle it so much.
So it's homogenized and spin.
Well, spinny spin is a complete different. That's what you.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the scientific term.
Yeah,
Spinny spin.
spinny spin,
Homogenized and spin.
Centrifuge is way too many fucking.
It is too many syllables.
And I have been in the inner workings of Smith Brothers Farms,
Neat.
their factory, their
In
production
Issaquah?
facility. No, it's actually down
Oh
in
no,
Coos
Kent.
Valley.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Dairy Gold.
Yeah, and just the machinery and all the stuff that's sort of going on, I wouldn't even begin to be able to, okay, the
a
milk goes from
process.
here to here and
Yeah.
does this
Yeah.
and does that.
Yeah.
But I know they've got some pretty technical machinery
To move a
now.
lot.
Really
material,
smart
dude.
people
Yeah.
doing some
Yeah.
really
Yes.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Are they still an independently owned
I believe so.
As far
operation?
as I know, yeah.
There was word
Yeah.
on the street
Yeah.
many years ago that they were going to, like back in the
Got it by whoever
early
owns
2000s.
Dairy Gold.
Yeah. Somebody was going to buy them or something like that. Well, maybe they didn't. I hope not.
I hope
I don't
not.
see the trucks around very
Oh,
often.
now that you
I still
mention
get
it,
mine
yeah.
delivered.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. They're still out there.
Yeah, they come out every other week.
Yeah, they were Jet City's exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and then
Must have ran out
Tony,
of something.
who is Burgundy's stepdad.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte, and then Ray's girlfriend, Burgundy.
Yes.
He was a driver for Smith Brothers
Oh.
for years. He
What's
just
his name?
retired. Tony just retired about 2 or 3 years ago.
And those
You know
guys were
what?
like
Yeah.
those guys were like independent contractors too, right? They were their own business people
Oh,
And
within.
for their route or whatever.
for their route, and they would get they'd pick up other
Yeah,
customers
no, I think I
with
know
them.
Tony.
Oh, do you know Tony?
Yeah, from Jet City. Yeah, he's a tall, good-looking guy. Kind of combs his hair off to the side like
He's a
Gil.
bit older now
Yeah.
from Jet City days, but he was a special forces. He was a Green
Oh,
Beret
shit.
for years and years.
Man.
Retired from the Army and did that for
Got
a
into
while.
milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that's a great switch.
Yeah.
And just chill.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat.
Yeah, because ours was Pete.
How many kids does
But
he
then
have?
Tony was
You think the milkman would have a lot of kids?
yeah.
That he knows of.
Right, that he knows of.
Oh,
Martha.
man, so good.
Either one of you guys ever done any skydiving?
I have.
Jump out of an airplane?
I did.
Can you hear yourself? Can people talk to each other as they're in the air?
You can. I don't remember. I would say no.
Well, I'm going to say if you're falling at the same speed, yes.
Well,
if you're not
A
falling,
speed is what?
because just like
I had a guy strapped to my back, so
Wow.
he wasn't.
Was he whispering sweet nothings in your ear that you could?
No, he's just getting to business.
did someone say steak?
Do they have brandy down below?
He said something about Porky's. I can't remember. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, it was 12,500 feet,
Yeah,
and
but
it was
he-
up in Issaquah, or up in Sky.
How was that? How long was that drop?
50 seconds.
Okay.
Maybe a minute.
Did it slow down?
Before the chute deployed or the whole thing?
Before the chute deployed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like
And
a
then
45 to
it's a
50
drift
second. Yeah, exactly. And then you had to pull at 5,000 feet.
Cool.
So you got a pretty good time in the air.
Yeah.
And yes, it is scary to jump out, and there's that whole like rush, but it immediately goes away. There's like if you go over a bump, and you're not paying attention, and someone
You get that
you get that whole like, or a roller coaster.
Yeah, sure.
Same sort of thing, but only lasts for a tenth of a second,
that's
and then everything normalizes, and you're like, wow, you can't even tell you're falling.
Yeah.
You're just so far up, unless there's clouds and that
Yes,
sort
that
of thing.
first step, that's the hardest.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
Yeah.
So an interesting story. I was you practice on the ground up there. They show you. They've got this mock-up of one of the planes, just the body, and you get inside of it and you practice jumping out and then grabbing air. You're supposed to just grab 1, 2, and then jump and then get your hands out to go grab some air, so you don't start flipping around.
Sure.
Well, you get up in the plane, and on the way out, I had a videotape, so I've got a videotape of it and a bunch of photographs. So the guy that's going to be doing that goes out first onto the strut and the wing, and then he basically is communicating with the guy that's latched to my back, and we get out to the edge, and I put my hand like that, and the guy takes my hands, and he goes boom like that, and he goes 1, and he pushes me out on 2, and I'm like, motherfucker. And so the pictures of me is me reaching back to make sure he was still there, and I'm grabbing his ass, just holding on to him, and we're just tumbling. We're not grabbing any air or anything, just tumbling out of the plane. But it's a cool shot because the guy's falling backwards like this, and you see the plane getting further away.
That's cool.
And we're tumbling out of the plane in front of him. It was a cool thing.
Wow.
Yeah. But I highly recommend it. What was your question about it?
Just if you can actually hear.
Oh, yeah. I would say that I would say he didn't really talk to me. I think he gave me hand signals to get my hands out. He goes, "Get your hands out," but I don't think he screamed at me.
They say that the wind
Is too much.
flying past your ears.
I bet.
You're just not going to get it.
I don't remember him speaking to me.
And I'm trying to remember like fucking Point Break with Keanu.
Oh, I'm sure they're yelling at
They're
you.
yelling, "Not today, Johnny," or whatever it is. I haven't seen the movie in
It's all
30 years,
ADR.
but
Yeah. It's interesting because, when you're speaking, if you screamed into somebody's ear, I guess you could.
Yeah.
Because the wind's not taking.
You're not going that fast, right?
You're going 100 miles an hour.
If you're driving, no, you're not doing 100 miles an hour. You'd go squish.
Falling?
Yeah. No.
well,
It's 20
for the first
yeah.
50 seconds, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before
you're going 50. You're going about 100 miles an hour, 80 or something like that. You got
It's
to
working 19 feet per second or something? Yeah, what is it?
Well, I think terminal velocity is like 120 miles an hour. I think.
Jeez.
I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
So terminal velocity is pretty fast. But no, you don't get up to terminal velocity because he throws a little mini chute to stabilize the fall, and so you slow down.
How do you guys land together?
He just softly brought it right in, and we just started running. And he just,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys were able to just
he-
go together.
He kind of like a plane comes in and does a flare. He kind of did a flare, and then it just kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's obviously.
I think we slid at one point.
Yeah.
Right. So
because the chute's pulling.
yeah. So we kind of slid a little bit, but it was pretty great. It was. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend bungee jumping though, more for the rush because bungee jumping is close to the earth.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah. When back in the 90s, early 91, I think, MTV was doing a group of bungee guys that were doing a whole thing, and that group from MTV was up in the Pacific Northwest, and I worked at the Pioneer Square Saloon at the time, and this group of guys that did this were our regulars for about a week, right? And so they asked a bunch of us to go early in the morning up to just before Snoqualmie Pass. There's the last exit before Snoqualmie Pass, and it's a Forest Service Road 7106 or whatever it is, and you can see the bridge off to the right. It's an old train trestle bridge, or Forest Service Road bridge, and it's 176 feet tall.
Wow.
Down to a dry riverbed, and at 4 a.m, just before the light started to peak out. Once the light was there, we all started to go because it was illegal. We were hooking up illegally.
Oh, wow.
And we all, about 9 of us, got two jumps apiece. And we jumped forward, and then they hauled our asses back up.
I was going to say, how do they have to pull you?
The 9 of us were pulling you up. Yeah, it took some work, but and then you jumped off backwards.
That's cool.
It's the craziest thing. And Kevin Shirtliff was the first one to go because he was the tallest and the heaviest. And then they would progressively get rid of bungees as you went down so that you didn't...
didn't put too much stress on it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, no, the other way around, so that you went down further.
Further.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if you were 180 pounds and he was 220, you would want to have less bungees on there. So he does it. He's the first guy to go.
Hardcore.
And he's sitting there, and it's like, we're Kevin, and he just goes, like Superman, but he's just like this guttural, just fear-based jumping sound of craziness. He gets down to the very bottom of the bungee, and all the shit in his pockets goes flying out onto the rocks. Change, his wallet, keys, everything goes all over the place.
There's a lesson in there somewhere.
For the other 8 guys.
We all were like,
taking shit out.
Totally.
What is the bungee exactly? What is the cord?
I think it's made out of cat intestine.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Gives a little.
I don't know. I think it's just a big rubber band,
big, heavy bungee cord.
Yeah. It's a bunch of fibers.
Because it's got to give some give. Otherwise,
you pull your legs off. Doink.
Yeah. What do you attach to at that point?
There's a whole leg.
A braid, okay.
Some that's attached to your
so
calf.
you're
like
holding
a walking boat or whatever.
Yeah. No, you're not holding anything.
So you're just hanging by your leg.
By your legs. You're upside down. So if you don't jump out, and then start going down, if you are falling flat, when it goes down, you snap down, and you can really kind of smash yourself into the bungee a little bit there. I remember getting like a fat lip or something. I can't remember. The first one hurt a little bit.
And I got one last question on this because I'm fascinated. So obviously the bungee, the cord has a certain amount of tension to it, so it's going to stretch a certain amount, right?
That's what they say.
So how do you measure? I mean, it's like, it's 176 feet. Do we have to lower it down and then pull back?
Well, those guys were professionals, so they understood what weight ratios and how many bungees per
material
per cord would allow for. And so we all were measured, our weight. They had the scale there, and we all got weighed before we went on.
So they knew exactly how much.
And hopefully they double check the measurement.
Well, you've seen that, right? Where people have gone too far.
Once.
They try to get you to go down and like they're over water. They get you to dunk your head into the water.
Oh man!
And they miss it a little bit. You smack into the water. It's a terrifying thing. It's easier to jump out of an airplane than it is to do that because you've got all this trees and rocks, and there it is. It's right there.
It's right there. Very immediate.
Terrifying.
You have something to carry.
But I tell you what, the high that I got from skydiving versus bungee jumping, world of difference. I was high for excited and that sort of thing from skydiving for about a day or so, but with bungee jumping, it was like over a week.
Wow.
I was just like, this is awesome. I just felt jazzed. It was cool. And backwards, you just like jump off backwards. That's dumb.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It is. It's giving it away, right?
You're trying something. It's an experience. I'd recommend it. It's cool.
All right. Boys, bowls will not be aggressive to you if you use like a floral print when you're doing the matadoring.
It depends on the time of year.
It's mating. It's mating season. You're fucked. Mama's wearing a dress.
They use the red because they're angry at the color red, and they get more emotional.
I just thought it was the showmanship of the matador. Red's good for being showy. That's what I always figured. That's
pretty much it. They don't give a shit about the color. It's the motion,
of
the thing
item
that makes you look aggressive towards them, and that's what gets them worked up.
Although maybe the audience would prefer a floral print. A nice
depending on what county you're in.
For the bowl myself.
Oh man, I saw a video.
They banned those.
Where a dude was kind of like he got hit by a bull when they were in a ring, so it must have been he had come off the bull or something, but you see him running, and he gets blasted once. Blasted by a mid-sized bull, but enough, much larger.
Is this like the running of the bulls kind of a thing?
Something like that, but in a ring.
It was in a ring,
So he's a professional, but so one of the clowns, or one of the assists, grab him, bring him up around an obstacle, and the bull had gone this way.
And nails him again. I have seen that.
Hard.
Yeah.
I just went, oh, man.
Yeah, he's just recovering from getting his ass kicked.
What the fuck was that? Oh, you guys missed it. It'll be on the video. Yeah. There's a weird looking truck.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, you ever been to a bullfight on acid? Tommy, Billy, you know.
Boys, you can catch a cold because you don't put on enough clothing in the wintertime, or you go to bed with your hair wet.
Yeah, no.
Have you heard that?
No, but my pillow will smell funny if I go to bed with my hair wet.
I don't think that's true. I think
no, because they're both
those are viruses.
They're both viruses. Yeah, it's not about.
But I could see
cold.
if somehow or another your body had to work super hard to try to stay warm, and that knocked down your immune system, then it allowed for.
Yeah, you're stretching it there.
I mean, I agree.
But it was probably originally done by a mom that was like, "You better put your coat on. You're otherwise you're gonna get sick."
Fucking coat on.
It's all a control mechanism.
Yeah.
Fucking
Quit
parents.
trying to control me, Mom.
Yeah.
But, I was
or we saw it in Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
It's probably in Looney Tunes.
All you needed was a St. Bernard with some brandy.
That's right.
Which way did it go?
To get you through. Boys,
I love that.
don't microwave your food because the radiation will kill all the healthy
nutrients
elements, all the nutrients out of your food.
I don't think that's true.
No, it's not true. But are you listening to Big Microwave?
Big pharma, big microwave.
You know what I mean? But
I saw something on microwaves last night.
And I've seen where it's like I microwave this water, then let it cool, and then I just use this good water and water my plants, and the microwave water killed my plants.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
Because
Like,
it doesn't change your atoms or your molecules.
No, but peptides and other kind of stuff, proteins especially famously, aren't great at high temperatures.
Yeah.
Right? So stuff breaks down. But that's called cooking your food.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Right.
And for humans, now that we're kind of spoiled and don't use our appendix and don't have a bunch of other biome stuff, we kind of got to cook our food a lot of times or just to make it more digestible, right?
Sure.
I guess depending on what it is.
You got to kill all the shit that's on it.
Well, that also, yeah. But I mean, like raw vegetables and fruits, we can still do that. We should wash them, though. But because somebody
I've got an angry spider that lives behind my microwave, and I've been trying to get that fucker to bite me for years so I can become Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he's not. He's too small to be able to catch that wave. I did hear something interesting about the microwave radiation that comes out of the. It's supposed to be a Faraday cage, basically, but there's a microwave shell.
Yeah.
But there are some microwaves that actually leak more microwave radiation than others.
Yeah.
So it's important to get a decent microwave if you're going to use that form of cooking.
Yeah, that wacky little screen. When you look in the glass and you see that mesh-looking glass, that's the Faraday. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Because they're microwaves. Which,
They're the
super tight.
Yeah,
super tight. Yeah.
And so the size of those holes is small enough to not let them through, or they bounce off of them.
Yeah, like a shortwave radio. Yeah. Somehow that works.
The show last night, basically, this gal wanted to know how much, if it was a Faraday cage. The Faraday cage, so she put her telephone inside there, didn't turn it on, of course, but just. And then called it, and some microwaves allowed the phone call to go through, and others did not.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there are leaks within some microwaves, and some aren't.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's not it's just a painted-on mesh. They did, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because you can build simple Faraday cages to keep, like EMPs or whatever.
Yeah.
To whatever degree, you know what I mean? But it's not an impossible technology, right?
It's going to bounce. You can wrap it in tinfoil too, so that it blocks those waves.
Yeah, I put it on my head and then I wrap my head
in tinfoil.
That's a good idea. I was thinking about doing a Faraday cage, just
to have a quiet room or something.
Yeah. Just to have a space where I don't have any electromagnetic.
I think that's
a great idea. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
If I build a house in the future, I think I'll at least make one room.
How tight to make your
It's a formula.
There is.
It's well researched.
It's a research formula. You would just buy the mesh screen, copper mesh screen, and just line the walls with it. Basically.
Pretty much since Madame Curie, we've all been like, maybe we should have
put something up. I remember doing work down at KCTS Channel 9, the PBS station here in Seattle, and they had several rooms downstairs that were wrapped in those cages.
For what reason?
I'm not really sure, other than
because in the whole space there was just a place to get away from that for a while,
or it was maybe that's where they had a bunch of magnetic tape or something stored.
That's a good call, because it was in the basement.
Because I mean that could get obliterated from a solar store.
And I wonder, because some of the areas were like offices
in there was probably
good. Well, that's where they were transmitting the woke mind virus from Channel 9.
Is that where it comes from?
Sesame Street.
Big Bird.
Big Bird.
That would be my guess. Is there just
join us?
Yeah, because that's my guess.
Protecting the
something, either
archive
or the microfiche at Channel 9.
Because it was.
I don't think so.
It was in their basement area, not basement, but like a back first floor area, and it was kind of close to some of the small recording or editing studios that they had. Yeah, just trying to remember, and I think they were all grounded as well.
That's neat.
So,
of course,
I bet they had their own
have to be.
They have to be.
To make them effective, I guess.
Oh yeah, and what's you can get the carpets that you walk on so you don't zap your computer and stuff.
Yeah, grounding mats and that sort of thing for sure. Yeah. I sleep with my cancer gave me a whole bunch of side effects. One of them was rheumatoid arthritis. I had 7.5 liters of fluid taken off my lung. I was messed up, right? It was terrible. 7.5 liters, think about it.
That's a lot.
2 liter thing of 7-Up with lithium in it. And then that's almost three of those in my left lung.
Yeah, there's 3.5 of those.
3.5 of those.
That's a lot.
Yeah. No.
That'd be 7.
7, 2, 4, 6. Oh yeah. That's 3.5.
A lot, bro. That's a lot.
It was insane. Yeah. What was I saying?
Yeah. You ground yourself.
Oh, grounding. Yeah, I ground myself at night. So I hook up to a DIY plug that I took out the top 2 positive negative charge.
Yeah, so it just goes
right. So it's just the grounding plug, orange thing, pulled it apart, and then I put 2 speaker wire ends in there, and then I plug it into the wall, and then the other end of the speaker wire, 20 feet of speaker wires, connected to a 50-foot coil of copper. And on each end of the copper, I have connected the speaker wire with the electrical tape, and then I just put it at the end of my bed and I stick my toes through it at night for half hour, 45 minutes before I'm going to sleep, and then it lands up on the ground at some point. But I don't have any of this back pain. I don't have anything associated with what I had prior to my rheumatoid arthritis coming on, and it's all that's gone. Right.
That's fantastic.
My joints don't hurt. Nothing hurts anymore. So
I gotta think that there's. Maybe there's not, but I know like when we would used to go in and do like server racks in server rooms and the big data centers and stuff like that.
Ground yourself.
Well, yeah, we'd have to get. There was an armband that we'd wrap around, and then it plugged into a ground lug on the rack that was
to ground
connected
you out.
To ground me out.
Yeah.
That way you're not doing any static electricity into the equipment.
Right.
I'm just wondering if there's something like that, but I get what you're saying.
It's
just
the
on the building.
thing.
Did you check the plugs, the outlets?
I did.
To make sure they were grounded?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, to make sure that was not had any electrical charge.
Right.
I did. Well, and you can buy grounding mats that do that as well. They don't have the top 2 or grounding sheets.
And,
there's all kinds of grounding
chances. 99% of buildings in America really are grounded.
Yeah.
Right. Except the one we're in.
Yeah.
Right?
This one probably isn't grounded very well.
No.
Yeah.
Although he did have some work done.
He did have some work done.
Thank you.
Yeah. But it's definitely something, if you think about it, ever since the invention of rubber, not the invention of rubber, but the use of rubber on our shoes, we've been insulated from the ground and not given any of that negative ion dispersion, positive ion dispersion with negative ions, like going to the ocean and getting those ions that come on you. You feel so good. You pet a dog, the dog gives you their ions and it balances you out. Same thing with grounding. Just walking around in your garden or walking around in your
Take
yard.
your shoes off.
Take your shoes off and ground yourself. Hug a tree. Just go when you're walking by, grab a tree. Immediately you see a difference in your electromagnetic static charge of your body. And your blood, if you look at blood, a drop of blood before you did that, if you've been wearing your shoes all day, put it on a glass plate and then look at it under the microscope, you'll see not clotting, but a clumping of the red blood cells together. And then when you ground yourself, you take another prick of your finger and look at it, and they're all separated and they're all moving independently around, so your blood flows a little bit better and that sort of thing. A lot of positives to grounding. I highly recommend it.
Right on.
Yeah. And I don't have, I've got cancer still, but I'm not dying like I was a couple months ago.
That's a win.
It's a win.
Big time.
Yep, exactly.
Big time. All right, just a couple more. Mike, sugar makes you hyper. So eating all that candy as a kid. Just in general.
I've seen it.
I don't know. Yeah, I say it has for me personally. I don't know if it does anymore.
They say it's a myth that hyperactivity is just...
Well, there's hyperactivity brand, and then there's the kid you're hyper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I've seen kids do snorting lines of sugar.
No, we've all seen it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing lines of sugar.
And before sparring, I used to drink like a honey bear.
Of honey?
Oh, yeah.
A whole thing?
Oh, yeah. And just nut the fuck up. Oh, yeah. It's
Man,
great.
talk about a spike of your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I loved it.
Oh, my God. So, but research is saying that's not a
They're
thing.
saying it's a myth.
Okay.
Yeah, that sugar doesn't make you hyper.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but these same people who tell me metabolism's not real, it's like, but I experience it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but that's fine. I'll go with the data, not my gut.
Jeez. And lastly, boys, if you have somebody that's come up missing that you have to wait the requisite 24 hours before reporting it to the police.
Or
Say that again?
Missing.
If you somebody comes up missing that you have to wait, they won't take a report. How long have they been gone? Oh, I don't know, just since this afternoon. Oh, you have to wait 24 hours and call us back.
I think that's just a myth from Chips.
Yeah, I'll say that's a myth.
Yeah, it is. If you think that they're in imminent danger, then the police will focus on it immediately. They will ask you how long they've been missing and
where
stuff.
did you put them?
Are you sure?
They're not obligated to
Where
do
did you
so,
put
but they
them?
might.
What dumpster?
How much insurance do you have?
Yeah, but there's no wait. There's no wait time. That's always like in the movies or in the TV shows. I
We
gotta wait
believe
24
everything.
hours.
I can't do nothing. They're like,
Sorry. Come
We
back
believe
and-
everything we hear, too, so that sucks.
well, quicksand, piranhas, Bermuda Triangle.
Quicksand's true.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
Probably.
I'm sure somewhere there's quicksand, but do you like...
Some sand's quicker than others.
Oh, my God.
Boys, thanks for playing along. Sharing is caring. Anything new and exciting happened to you guys this past week?
Yeah.
I have been enjoying the new discovery of droning.
Wow.
Yes.
I've got a drone, and it has been just really something that I've been terrible at before. Like, for example, when I got my son Ben, his first drone back like in, I don't know, he was probably 7, 6 or something like that. I don't know, 8, who knows. But of course, Dad's got to try it out first. So it's this cheap little drone. It's not like the ones nowadays, right? That are just self-leveling and all that sort of thing. So I'm out in the cul-de-sac, and it's Christmas Day, right? Christmas morning or whatever, and I'm going to try it first to make sure it's safe or whatever bullshit I come up with, because I just want to play with it, right? I'm like a little kid. And that thing just goes away. It just keeps going up and up and up and up, and I just don't have any sort of oh, how do you make this work? And it disappears up over the top of the trees. And we find it. It's still on. The batteries or the motors are all burned out on it and everything. And Ben doesn't even get a chance to try it once.
Did you run down to Radio Shack and get another?
No, I felt bad. I didn't.
Sorry, kid.
But I did get him one later. I got him one like I have now for Christmas. Got a DJI Mini Pro 4, which has got a cool controller with a 4-inch screen, 6-inch screen.
Yeah, it's got like a 4K camera in there.
4K camera. It's got obstacle avoidance. It's pretty great.
Wow.
Yeah.
You posted where it was following you down the street, so you can program it to say, just follow me.
Yeah.
And it followed you down the street for most of the way.
Yeah, I think it got to a point because downtown Renton is a no-fly zone. Meaning that once it gets to a certain point, there's sectors. And it went up against that sector.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't want to follow me
FCC
anymore.
thing
It is, yeah. There's-
Because of the
Or FAA.
flight path.
Yeah. And you need a
FCC.
Part 7 license to fly ones that are over 249 grams.
Okay.
And that's 249 grams
Gotcha.
is what it is. So it doesn't fall within that parameter.
That is-
but you still have to follow the rules. I mean, there's some common sense. There's lots of
Yes.
planes and stuff up here going hundreds of miles an
Yeah.
hour or whatever, and you hit something that's static,
Yeah.
it's going to cause some damage. So there's some height regulations. You can't go up above 325 feet, and
Is that self-regulated to a certain height, or?
it warns you. Everything is
Okay.
GPS related, and so it'll send an alarm. You can go past that and bypass it, but you're going to get a fine from the FAA.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I had fun over at Coulon yesterday, day before yesterday.
Geez, that's great.
Yeah.
Can it
And-
chase the geese?
It probably could. I didn't see any geese. I did chase some what do you call those?
Scooter kids or something?
Not
or-
scooter kids, jet skis.
Oh!
I chased a couple of jet skis.
That's
really?
awesome.
Yeah, I buzzed them a little bit.
Yeah.
I buzzed the tower.
Did they notice at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Geez, that's
yeah, people flip you off.
Nice.
There's a lot of like profanity, right? Some guy at Four Generals Brewing kind of looked at me kind of weird, and there's a woman in a car right in front of the outside seating there, and she's getting in her car, and she gave me the middle finger.
Oh, man, it should be like, show me your...
I was just trying to get footage for the podcast
Yeah,
for
sure.
you to use, and I was trying to like learn the whole process of backing up and out, and
I'm going to include the
bird.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
there. It's subtle.
Yes.
If you're
And
looking.
if you're in public, you can't have a preconceived idea of privacy.
Yeah,
right?
no expectation.
You can't
of
have the
privacy, man.
expectation of privacy.
There's so many cameras out there now. It's
Sure. I'm not sure how that works with drones, though.
I
think
think the
if
same
you
with your
were-
cell camera, right?
yeah.
You can walk around with it, or
That's
just
true.
a body cam
That's true.
on all day long.
Yeah.
Until you
Yeah.
go into a private.
Yeah, you can't go up to somebody's apartment window and look in their window.
No.
No,
Yeah, well,
you can't do that. I mean, you can't. You're not
How
supposed
far away
to.
from the window does
Yeah,
the drone need to be?
Can I get it in through the bathroom window?
The thing has a zoom.
Came in
It's a
through
good
the
zone,
bathroom window.
So yeah, I've been enjoying that, and it's really fun, and it's a dexterous thing. As the thing's coming towards you, you have to do it opposite. So you learn to look at the screen. So you do what's on the screen
Yeah.
as opposed to what's there. But then you have to trust that you're not going to hit something.
Yeah,
And
that's the freaky part.
That's
right?
the freaky part,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So
And it's deep dimensional thinking, right?
It
In a
is.
car, you're doing that also, but it's different because you're not removed. From,
well, a car you've only got left, right. You're only on a
Sure.
y-axis
Yep,
and
yep,
a
yep,
front,
yep,
forward,
yep.
and back,
Yeah.
right? This you've got up, down, left, right, diagonal. You've got these two joysticks, one that goes up and down, and then kind of makes the thing go sideways this way, and then this one makes the whole thing spin, right? And then this one makes it go forward, right? So there's this brain connection, like trying to, do this, right? Trying to make something like this happen.
It is.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing. These are my hands. I should be able to just do it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't run into anything yet. I've got it set for the highest amount of avoidance. It's got LiDAR on it, and so it sees where stuff is and says, and just stops before it goes any further.
That's pretty cool, man.
It is very cool.
And the LiDAR systems are common enough now that they're in just...
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
It is very neat.
And that the battery power is enough to be able to because it's so, I mean, gravity is a lot, man. So it takes a lot of energy to put something into the air and hold it there.
Yeah.
And your battery life is great on
It is.
thing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, what are we talking on that thing?
If I'm really pushing it, it's probably 15 minutes.
Okay.
They make a battery that's about 25 minutes to 30 minutes if you're really going, right? Not racing, but just moving around up and down and all around. But, I've learned to be a little more easy on it. Yeah, to get a little bit more life out of it. But it's...
What's it take to charge that thing? About an hour?
It takes a little while. I've been using my computer
This is
charger.
USB connection?
USB-C.
Yeah.
I wonder what the highest wattage you could push into that thing.
Well, I think you can put any wattage into it. The problem with batteries is you kill a battery not because you're charging it too fast, but because you increase the heat. Because batteries are basically like this positive, negative side, and then this gel that's in between that, transfers the negative.
They're the angry pixies.
The angry pixies. Yeah. And so if you heat it up, that gel ends up getting kind of plugged up with gunk, and it shouldn't be hot. It doesn't work well when it's really, really hot. And so those adapters that run a higher charge through it to go faster can heat up the battery, and then that will cause a problem eventually, and your battery won't last as long.
I mean, even lithium ion, but I think all batteries are kind of susceptible to that, except I think these weird saltwater batteries or something. There's these oddball, rare batteries like on submarines or some weird shit.
Well, I'm sure.
But, where you can drain them and fill them really fast.
Which is great.
But it does cut its lifespan down. It's incredible energy density though in those batteries. It's incredible.
Well, and a 100-watt battery. I'm sorry, a 100-watt charger. There's a cycle. You might use that at the beginning. Let's say it's at 20. Your battery's at 20%. Initially, it's going to throw 100 watts at that, and then it's going to get to a point where it starts to go up and charge, but it's going to go to a trickle. The last 20% or the last 30%, it's going to go to 20 watts or whatever. So if you have a 100 watt, it does initially charge faster, but eventually it just kind of evens out. So it's not as much. It's faster, but it's not.
And if you had to do a longer shoot, you could just switch batteries on the fly, right?
I've got
if you had multiples,
I've got 2 more coming in a charger that's a 3-bay charger. That's what everybody says. Invest in batteries.
That's what I did for the GoPro.
Because then you're out there and I can just put another one in, put the other one in, the one that I first used in to start charging if I needed to. But time-wise, it takes probably about 2 hours.
Okay.
That was your initial question, I think.
Yeah, just say
about 2 hours, I think, is what that battery needs to take.
Nice. So. Yeah, but with 3, then gives you an afternoon of enjoying.
Exactly. And it's fun. I mean, it's, I went through some stuff. I went through the poles over here today.
Right here?
The flagpoles at the Memorial Park.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was like just sitting there looking at it.
Just weaving them?
No, I didn't weave them. I just went through, through. And then I came around and I went right up to the sign at the museum to get a shot of the museum sign for the pre-opening for the podcast.
Yes.
You'll look through all that information and you'll see it.
Sure.
I got some cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've always really wanted to do, because I see all the time, you see the aerial shot, the straight down trees or cityscape, stuff like that. Just that nice, crisp, downward.
Which you don't get a chance to see.
Which you never see.
You're in it.
So like if I'm out taking photographs, like I'll stop by a state park and just kind of wander around, but I'd love to just send up a drone
and just have
a few shots.
Fantastic.
I did that over here. You'll see in today's footage. I went above the memorial. The memorial's a star, right? It's got all the boards. And so I went right down to the middle of it, which is where the bird is, the eagle, the statue. And then I started to go straight up, and I pushed the left yoke to make it spin. Cool. So it's just spinning going up 300 feet. Wow. And then I come straight back down and it's spinning the other direction. And so I got that for you too.
Right on.
It's kind of a cool thing.
Right.
I just got back. Remember the first time I ran into you guys out here?
Yeah.
I've gotten a little better since practicing a little bit. So.
Nice.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing.
Nice. Mike, what about you? What you been up to, buddy?
Well, I work this way. I worked in West Seattle. Oh, no, I had a sandwich from a Husky Deli.
Yes.
So that was kind of the highlight of my week.
Delicious.
I had
What's Husky Deli?
Oh, you've been there. Isn't it Husky in West Seattle?
Yeah, up in
What's
West
that?
Seattle.
Oh, man, no,
Big
that's
famous
good.
deli up there.
Oh, is that the one on the main drag there at the junction?
Well, I didn't actually go today, but yes, I went there once with Johnny years ago.
Okay.
And it was really good. And then I had an egg salad sandwich today. It was probably 3 pounds.
Oh.
It was good.
Oh, man.
It was really good. All the tomato, you can tell. Is that what's the tomato look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a good tomato.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good
Nice and
sandwich.
fresh.
It was a really good sandwich.
But that's called Husky, the one that's, they got milkshakes and they've got that sort of thing there.
Yeah, it's like been a family-owned thing.
And it's a grocery store too, and it's a deli. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's been years since I've been there.
So yes, I have been there. And it's delicious.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the
And
highlight of my week.
staff is great.
And you've been working with a gal, and we hope to get on the show.
My dear old friend Alyssa Allen, who is a past president but still current member of the Puget Sound Mycological Society, terribly knowledgeable about fungus is, but mycological pigments. So making these really cool dyes for clothing, fabrics, etc.
Out of mushrooms?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't think that there. I mean, I guess there are red mushrooms.
Yeah.
Those red ones are out there, but most of them I think are brown and white. How much color can you really create?
I really don't know, but it's neat. No, she has a business doing it.
Cool.
And teaching how to do it. So she's a neat kid. Yeah, so I've been, and her house is I think 1909.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a 100-plus-year-old house.
Man, that's all. So that was neat.
Cool.
Nice.
I mean, it's still work.
Yeah.
But you're in a 100-year-old house?
Yeah, but I'm in a 100-year-old house, doing regrouting a shower. Yeah, a 100-year-old shower. It's like, if this grout could talk, I hope it wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Say. How many bodies has it seen?
Oh, man. Anyway, so that's something. Grouts, you know what I mean? I mean, tile's amazing.
Did you make the grout thick? Is it a thick grout?
In the shower, no. Throughout the bathroom, yes.
Okay.
No, I was just removing and regrouting. I didn't remove all the tile.
Oh.
You just dig it down, right? You take off, the top third half of the grout line,
and then you
just regrout. Yeah.
Got it. Did you ever go to the Pioneer Square Saloon back in the day in the bathroom?
Yes.
And there was the grout feedie. The grout feedie. You'd sit there in the urinal and you'd be looking and it would say, "Grouting about in America, the great grout, conspiracy," or whatever. There was all these great grout quotes.
Nice.
On all of the grout lines in the bathroom at the Pioneer Square Saloon.
Because people would scratch into it.
Not scratching it, just use pen.
Oh, to write.
Yeah, just write on the grout.
Nice.
Yeah, just think of a classic. Just replace the word grout
with whatever.
With whatever. Yeah, grout fishing in America. Stuff like that.
Right on.
Grout.
Oh, grout.
I think it's still there, by the way. It's still there.
No, I hope so.
What's
you feeling good about this week?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Oh, geez. Well, the wife went out.
How's that grandbaby of yours?
Yes, he's doing great. The wife went out of town Monday. She just got back late last night, so it's kind of been me and the kid.
Yeah.
And she's been just a joy. Hung out, watched a movie together one night.
What'd you watch?
It was dumb.
That you shouldn't.
It's like we shouldn't have watched it.
You don't have to remember.
And I picked it too because I was trying. Because we both are kind of like the horror movie kind of thing, and
it wasn't like 16 Candles. Or
I can't even remember what it was. Really bad ghost story, but it wasn't a good ghost story. We went to the farmer's market.
Yeah, that was cool. Saw a friend of the show, X-Ray Addict.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Doing his thing. I think they need to give him some amplification over there.
It seemed odd.
It was very light.
Unless he's supposed
Who's this guy?
Ray Smalley.
Yeah.
He's been on the
Hayfields.
show
a
couple times.
Yeah, Hayfields were the house band for both Gong shows? All three?
No, first Gong show, and then he did solo the second
did solo,
one.
that's right. Yeah.
So he played guitar at the
Gong Show.
Yeah, when we had it at Delancey's. Yeah.
He's a sweet guy.
Yeah, really nice guy.
What do you guys think of? You guys were there this week, and I plan to go this next Tuesday to do some drone footage of it because I think there's a lot of opportunity there to do some cool shit.
Yeah.
But they've
buzzing people.
Yeah, they've moved it now from the park over there, the piazza, over to Wells.
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah.
That's great. Closing down the street. What was that like?
Yeah. I think it's a smashing success
Is it?
so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was
it's
nice.
not. I don't know if it is the same square footage. It's because it's
a different format.
They said it was smaller, and they had to nix a few
Vendors
because they didn't have as much
there's
space.
still room toward. No, maybe it was pretty full because it goes right down to
Williams?
Cheers or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. People seem to like it. One side of the street gets more sun than the
That's
other.
true, yeah.
So I think they're hopefully going to switch them back and forth.
Okay.
But it's not. It was hot to me last
was
week.
hot,
Any other human beings loving it, but it was.
You mean 2 days ago?
Yeah,
2 days ago.
yeah.
Or whatever day this. What day is it?
Yeah.
And Ray had a pop-up canopy, but his audience did not. So it was a little difficult to sit in the.
It would have been almost better just to flip so he was on the other side instead of front
on the street.
flip him over.
Then he would have had the shade.
And then he would have been by the food truck. Although maybe that's why, because the food truck's got diesel, or not diesel, but generators going.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have a bunch of people that are static, that are just sitting there waiting, just don't put them in the sun.
It's too much.
They'll figure it out.
And it was a lot of older folks that came over, which was nice to see. They came over to watch him do his thing. But I think a little amplification for him would have been nice.
Yeah, I agree.
But
and I don't know if he's got electricity over there or not.
I don't know.
I'd like to put my 2 cents in for the Renton River Days to be held in the downtown area and close off all the streets.
Just talking to a city rep about that yesterday.
I think it's a great idea.
That was the skateboard thing that you went to? Did you go to that?
Oh, yeah.
I did too.
How was that?
It was great. Mark put on a good show. The city was there representing. The Parks Department was there.
What were they trying to determine? Ways to improve the skate park?
That was the question. So you each kind of could vote on it, either through QR code or through stickers on a board. So scrap what they have there and build something else. Extend what they have there. Have a different park somewhere else. Have multiple
skate parks.
Small like skate dots that are kind of like fancy sculptures that you get to skate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like a half pipe in the middle of town or something like that.
Didn't Wilkinson have the fry pan or whatever? It's like eggs in a pan or something.
Oh,
is there a skate park? Yeah, so you can still, it's skatable art or whatever.
You can jump up on it or whatever. It's still, you're not going to hurt it.
Yeah, it's meant for that. It just looks like ham and eggs or whatever, or bacon and eggs.
Yeah, creative.
Yeah, I'm all for more public art.
I think so. And I think the dots are much less expensive initially.
Okay.
The cool thing about a skate park or a concrete anything is once you set it, you're pretty much done. Right? Around here, we don't have frost heave and shit, you know what I mean?
Is there an issue with the skate park that we have now? Do people, is it like too old and out of date? Is it like, oh man, not that again?
There are some things that people say it's usable, right? But it wasn't originally made by somebody that was a skate park designer. Right. Like, for example, they've got what you call, Mike, the Kidney, which is the big swimming pool, which is super deep drop-ins. Not many people can actually do it.
No.
Although we were there and some guy did do it. It was awesome. First time I'd ever seen anybody skate it.
And Matt Brown both. And Chilinsky was really good at that bowl too. But for the most part, kids aren't doing that. And you could there's other skate things you could put in that same square footage. That more people could get a lot out of.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of But, I mean, do you throw...
So better with the footprint.
To get rid of that concrete takes a lot of money and kilocalories, bro. So it's like, do you just build onto it? I mean...
There's an expansion west that they're talking about.
Any issue with expanding it would be fine.
Kind of. It's open.
There's not
it's open
much
right
on
there.
that side of the park
there
anyway.
isn't until you get to the ball field.
Right.
And that's 50 feet?
There's big open space right
really
there.
could.
Just there's a path between, the playground and the skate park that can be moved pretty easily.
BMXers there as well?
Yeah, not
as many.
Not terribly. But yeah, they get some in kids on scooters and shit. So
Yeah.
all that has to be kind of be incorporated because they're gonna be there, right? So that means the coping for the bicyclists has to be metal. The bikes and the scooters both you have to have metal coping, right?
Yeah.
Or it just tears it up and you lose your money.
Yeah, it's like having a ski hill and just. You can't just make it for skiers anymore, right? It's going to be a snowboarder as well, right?
Yeah.
But
because it's just going to be.
You're not going to have somebody that's got two wheels that's not going to try it. You know, someone's going to try to scooter it or ride their bike on it,
right.
Or dare I say,
which is dangerous.
Fucking rollerbladers, Jesus! Unless you're in Japan
and
get out of here with that.
Wearing a bikini.
There wasn't any rollerbladers, were there?
No, there weren't. But there have been. But,
yeah, of course.
I did see a guy that had he had this contraption on his foot. It was just basically his foot was on just a flat board, and it was this size, his foot, and it was one wheel.
Oh yeah, yeah. Big, kind of a bigger wheel.
A bigger wheel, yeah. It was a good size wheel.
Yeah, I've seen those.
It wasn't and then I saw somebody yesterday with real skates.
Yeah.
With 4 wheels.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Like it was meant to be.
Wow.
Like at the roller rink.
The roller rink. Got to get some disco going.
I would just one more thing about that skate park. I do recommend people getting involved in that. Mark Arnold has done a fantastic job.
Really has,
He really has. He's one of the original folks back 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, no, that guy's... He's been skating since the 70s, but yeah, he was like almost 25 next year.
Is it 25
years? He was barking about this 8 years ago.
Exactly. So he's been a firm supporter. And I think if there's anything that you want to do is you want to encourage young people to get out and about.
Yes.
Right? And and be and clump together in groups.
Yeah, where you know where they're at.
That's right. Yeah. And you want them to take care of one another, and you want them to have a little tribe, and you want them to be physical. You want them to break an arm once in a while. Not that you ever did that, Charles. No. Charles, I heard is...
but if we got a loneliness epidemic, skateboarding can help with that.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I mean? Sure. And for the most part, they self-police. You know what I mean? For what that's worth.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, ending this here program on something positive, boys, since we did get some very high temperatures. What was the first day of summer? Have we hit that?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
June 21st, right?
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, we're coming up on it. So this is a quote for summer. John Steinbeck wrote, "What good is the warmth of summer without the cold of winter to give it sweetness?"
Yin and yang.
Yes.
Yin and yang, or whatever it's called.
That's Steinbeck.
Well, boys, thank you so much for the show tonight. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, good talk.
We're going to come back and do our top 5. So if you are a member, you can enjoy that as well. Either go to Patreon or r-townpodcast.com and become a member. It's like $3 a month.
I mean,
it's
come on.
Nothing.
Oh, no, that's in your belly lint.
3. He didn't say 30. He said 3.
Yeah. Or $30 a year. And then you get more time with us.
That's right.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want that?
Everybody needs that. So come on back and we'll do that. Otherwise, if you're not, you're lost, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Cheers.
Love you anyway.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, blogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.